created by Jesse.
What was that, Connor? Were you saying something, sir?
Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Void Jumpers, our favorite Wednesday of the week. We are starting tonight with a few fun new things, which I'll introduce in a second, but I'm going to give you the regular spiel. We'll be playing Monster of the Week, created by Michael Sands. It's a delicious game system based on the Powered by the Apocalypse mechanics. This will be an actual play stream, but our focus will be on characters and the narrative. So we've bent some rules, broken some rules, made up a lot of our own rules, but we've based them all on this wonderful, wonderful system, which we've been having a ball playing. Today marks our soft open, in a sense, to our second season. This will encapsulate a running segment of the show in which, in between big mission arcs, we will be on the spaceship Haven. And so that's why I'm saying it's a soft open. But I have some exciting news. First of all, you might notice this brand new, beautiful face in our spread of characters and people here.
Yeah!
This is Casey Jackson, everybody. He'll be joining us as a main character and cast member for at least Season 2, and who the hell knows what's happening in the world past anything anyway, so let's embrace everything while we can.
Yeah, sounds good.
Casey, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're really excited. Casey and I have been chatting about his character and where he fits into the world, and just a lot of fun stuff that I can't wait to get to. We're going to get to the rest of these assholes in a second, but I want to take a second to just focus on you, to introduce you, and you tell us a little bit about yourself and the character, anything you want us to know. Feel free to keep all the juicy secrets to yourself as well, but tell us a little bit about you and your character.
All right. The character's name is Sam Hagen. He's a private detective, and he seems to have gotten himself into trouble again. So, pretty par for the course. As for myself,
I don't know what's. We are also in the dark here. I think Jesse and Casey have collaborated and have the scoop, but the rest of us are flying blind.
I'm sure you guys are going to be more than prepared for whatever comes your way.
That's weird. It sounds like a challenge or maybe even a threat.
A threat?
Oh, I would never.
All right, new guy. Way to come out swinging.
I think that's. I failed my first charisma check here.
Anything else you want us to know, or do you want to let it all unfold in narrative?
Oh, wait, no. I'll find this out soon enough. I just wanted to know if you introduce yourself by being like, Sam Hagen, Private Eye.
I guess we'll find out. In the same way that I'm excited to meet each of your characters and having a lot of fun with Jesse, I've really tried to stay as unmarried to certain aspects of Sam in the hopes of really allowing that to bloom as part of the show. So
cool.
It sounds very cool and very subtle for you to say that, but it's also an extremely generous thing for an actor and a performer and an improviser to do, willing to come in and join us and create together. So I super appreciate it.
It's been a lot of fun so far.
Okay. We're going to start this little episode the same way that we start all our other little episodes, and we're going to go around real quick, and I'm going to call on each of my little students here to tell me a big moment from last episode, because we missed a little bit of a week, just to refresh us on some of the most pertinent information before we drop into the story.
Remember, the bigger the moment, the louder you should be speaking when recounting it. So I want everyone yelling at the top of their lungs.
We're going to start with Tag.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay, so... a big moment from our season finale with Tag is that we saw a dark side of him come out for, I think, the first time. He was a pretty mild-mannered dude, and suddenly he had these feelings of greed, to be power-hungry, to be jealous or wrathful. And we don't We don't we don't know why, but because we have watched shows and listened to stories before, we suspect there is something nefarious happening here. And it may or may not be linked to the moment in which he called upon the power of an unknown element that this world has not seen documented. That's Tag.
And the power responded in that moment and spoke to you through Bryn.
Right, the power was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Hey, who are you?" And it was like, "Just a power." And I was like, "What kind?" And it was like,
I'm a good power.
"Good power. Totally a cool power." And if you were to introduce me to your parents, they would say, "That's a good power." But Tag doesn't have parents.
You brought it up.
Does he?
None of us brought it up. You brought it up.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, I made it a little bit of a joke, Jesse. But were you? Did I cut off something of narrative relevance?
But me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
I was about to skip you. We're going back to Rex.
It's me. It's me. I think something pretty significant from the end of season 1 was the parting between Rex and Tara, because I think in Tara and her relationship there, she had found someone that she felt comfortable with and safe with. And I think those feelings are very alien to Rex. And so I think it will be interesting to see how that manifests.
All right. And
as awkward as their interactions sometimes were, she still felt very safe and comfortable with Tara. I just want to acknowledge that Rex was also deeply awkward in those interactions.
I didn't find them awkward. They were par for the course as far as kissing another person goes. Wait, are there other ways to kiss people? Come on.
We should note that at the end of the episode, when we saw the company problem solvers landing on the Bloom planet to kind of clean up the mess in whatever nefarious way that might be, we did get a moment where we saw Tara's house, the back door slightly ajar, and her footsteps leading out into the jungle, where we know she is most comfortable and completely capable. So hopefully she snuck out without being detected, and we might hear from her again, or we might not.
Well, if we don't, it's going to seem extra sore now, giving us this glimmer of hope.
I'm just trying to try this new foreshadowing thing, and I don't really have a handle on it yet. So I'm excited to use it.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head there.
Okay, Bryn, let's hear from you.
I guess with the finale, the part that stuck with me for Bryn was seeing the Bloom Planet Summoner pass away and finding a way to honor him. And, he had turned into beautiful flowers when he died. And so taking one and trying to create this monument to him, or this vigil with Tag, was pretty profound. And I think she's pretty upset and doesn't know how to process that information. So she, in turn, went back to the ship and immediately started drinking space bubbles, and she's never had alcohol before. So, in turn, she's very inebriated at the end, and having a lot of fun, and it was nice to be able to communicate her feelings without any filter, especially towards the professor, where it kind of felt like he was very distant, and her side of, "you will love me," sort of came out. We will be best friends because of the alcohol. So I don't really know what's going to happen with the show today, because I think we're starting from there.
If there are any lawyers in the audience, we do want to start a merchandising effort with space bubbles. We don't quite know what that entails, so just get in touch with us. I think it could be a pretty big opportunity for all of us.
One thing which is interesting about you coming back and just popping the champagne is that you had all just completed a semi-harrowing. You're all a little bit too badass, so I'm going to make some big monsters to check you. But semi-harrowing boss fight towards the end, and everyone made the decision to celebrate rather than deal with wounds or some of that usual return to town RPG stuff, which will be fun because we're going to be jumping into this session with wherever you left off.
Am I? Oh, I'm injured.
I think I'm injured too.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
That's just really. Well, speed bubbles, I think, must have some sort of curative.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. It is not reflected in the mechanics of your character or your HP, but yes, they are.
Gotcha.
The last thing I'll say, because he's not here to do it himself, is I will touch on the professor and his exit. Brian is going to be a father, and a rather good one, and so he's leaving us to go do important life stuff. We were lucky to have him on the show while we did, and we kind of knew that he had a hard out at some point, so we were able to plan and hopefully deliver a satisfying exit for him and you guys. But we will touch on his character's exit because he did have a rather interesting and heavy exit interview with his boss, Shavanagh, who represents the company and is a rather high executive in their pecking order. And he was told that he was going to be put into a form of captivity. He was going to be taken to a lab, locked down, and forced to continue doing experiments that he did not feel comfortable continuing because they are very dangerous. He also discovered some very dangerous materials that the company was going to use in a way that he did not agree with. And so in a moment of insanity and courage, he made it a daring escape, dealing with 2 bodyguards in a rather gruesomely magical way, and getting to the shuttle bay, hopping on a shuttle, and taking his good old pal, CNAC-88, the space pilot robot, to fly him away into the darkness of space.
Thank God that voice is standard on all CNAC models, so that we
Yes.
can get it back at some point.
It's so fitting that, much like every interaction we had with CNAC, I too forgot that he went with the professor because we can't seem to ever remember that this robot is around.
Right.
Oh yeah, we also created a tiny Stegosaurus.
Oh yeah, you did create a tiny Stegosaurus. You have a familiar now. I believe it is in the care of Rex.
Rex has.
Yeah, I'll be taking care of this tiny Stegosaurus.
Right?
Yeah.
Whose name is.
Snacks.
Snacks, right. In the show, if you, for all of those who are rewatching the last 26 hours of gameplay, we did in the moment name this Stegosaurus Stacks, but Trin, in her brilliance, realized that Snacks was a far superior name, which I believe we will retroactively make canon.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that's plenty of exposition. Let's get into the juice.
Mr. Keeter, because we're transitioning a bit from how we were handling tips and donations last time, can we
Please.
turn the mic over to Lisa for just a second to let us know what we've come up with?
Yes, so we've got some fun perks for you guys. You'll see on the bar, we've got 3 actually. We have 3 tiers. So if we reach $100 today, Mark will drop in some music and we have to do a dance break. Feel free to join in with us. We will do a wonderful dance break. If we can hit $250, we will do a poll in chat and somebody gets to name one of our NPCs. And if we can hit $500, chat will get to name one of our planets. We're pretty excited. The $250 and the $500 donations are cumulative, so they'll stack from the week before. So as soon as we hit that, you guys get to name some cool stuff.
All right, cool.
Great.
Any other announcements before we drop in?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna begin today with Rex. I believe at the end of the last episode. Fuck yeah, kiss them things. At the end of the last episode, everybody else had a bit of a moment and they left the area that they were in. Rex was one of the people that we did not check in with, so we want to get back to her first. There was a gathering in the shuttle bay on the lower deck of your spaceship Haven, in which champagne was popped, emotions were expressed, and then Bryn and Tag decided to go make a phone call, and the professor was called away by the company. Shavana and her guards in particular came and asked him to join her for a private meeting. Where would you have gone after that?
I think I might have just stayed in the hull for a little while, just like kind of hanging back a bit and spending some time with this creature that has now been renamed Snacks.
Okay.
Seeing if I
Two
can,
X's.
obviously.
Good.
Okay. So you'd just kind of be in like, you'd still be on the lower deck shuttle bay area off to the side, hanging with this little Stegosaurus plant monster.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you have a few moments of peace. They stretch into a few minutes, and you realize that you're standing alone in this shuttle bay. Your party has all dispersed, and you're a little buzzed, but you can take the liquor a little bit better than they can. And there are, you can
Obviously.
see 6 different problem solvers. These are company mercenaries in a similar ilk of you yourself, Rex. They're in full combat gear because they just came up from planet, and they are stationed around the shuttle bay, casually and obviously keeping an eye on you. And then the elevator doors behind you hiss open, and out bursts Shavana. She's out of breath. There's a cut on her forehead, and behind her are 2 other problem solvers that are a tier above who you see here. They're her private guard. They have better gear, better weapons. They're bigger, stronger, more focused. They are right on her, flanking her out of these elevator doors. She's in a state. She's stumbling. She's mumbling's not quite the right word because it is a bit higher volume, but she's cussing under her breath. And she gets out there and she points at you and she says, "You!"
Yeah.
Grab her. And the 2 guards step forward, and they give you a moment, because they know you, and they know your reputation, to decide whether or not you'd like to allow them to follow their orders.
I look at them for a second, and I respect, it's unspoken, but I respect their respect of me. And so I just lean down and I pick up Snacks and I say, "Lead the way."
They cautiously both put a hand on your shoulders and lead you towards the back of the shuttle bay where you know the cargo hold is. Shavana follows behind them, and she's in a huff, but she's no longer yelling under her breath. You guys walk into the cargo bay. There's some crates and some boxes and some cool sci-fi luggage, but you're actually led to the back. There's a second door that's much smaller than the big ones you just walked through. And as you walk through there, you realize you've been brought to the brig. There are 4 holding cells here. They have glowing metal bars that you know, because you've put people in these before, are enchanted with void energy. And they're very sturdy. It's not so much the metal that would keep somebody in these things, it's the enchantment. One of the guards opens the door and gestures for you to go inside. They're very deliberately not being forceful, and hoping that you're going to allow them to be in control here. Shavana is not displaying that same deference, but these guys are they're part of your crew.
Well, I turn and face her and I say, "What the hell is going on?"
"We need to have a chat, and I can't exactly throw a summoner in the brig, so I'm throwing you in."
And I look at her a second and I say, "Why on earth would you put me in the brig?"
As she starts to speak, the pieces fall into place. You'd been hanging out by the lifts, of which there are several banks. But when you had been led through the shuttle bay, one of the ships were missing. And she says, "Your friend the professor has made a rather untimely exit, and I'd like some answers as to why.
You think that nit-brained egghead is my friend? You've got to be kidding me. Why can't we just go have a nice little chat and I can explain to you exactly what happened on that planet?
Because
I don't really appreciate you trying to intimidate me.
I understand your concern, but the last time I had a nice little chat, it ended up with 2 of my best men being swept up in dustpans. So you're going to be disarmed, and you're going to get in that cell, and we're going to have a talk. And if you're as innocent as you claim, I will have no problem opening the door and letting you walk out to help me resolve this situation.
Okay. Sure. But I get to keep this guy.
She looks at it for the first time and says, "What the hell were you doing down there?"
And I just look at Snacks, and I say, don't listen to that lady. She's very mean. You're perfect in every way. And then I just kind of, scratch her behind her ridge.
There's a, sound.
Right, the classic Stegosaurus noise, universally acknowledged to be what that creature does.
The guards allow you to make the decision to walk in, and then they close the door behind you. Once they do, it locks automatically, and the doorway, which had been off, hums to life and also glows purple. Shavanah says, "I'm not happy about this, Rex. Obviously, this is the last way I'd prefer to resolve the situation. If you hadn't been involved, you'd be the first person I called to help me control it. So understand that. But because of the events of the last 15 minutes, our world, for all intents and purposes, has been turned upside down. So forgive my emotion."
Would now be a good time for me to try and read a bad situation?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to try and read a bad situation. That is a 10.
You may ask me 3 questions from the Read a Bad Situation list.
All right. Are there any dangers I haven't noticed?
Despite the respect that is obvious on these guards, both of their hands are hovering around the butts of their void blasters, and you can see that there is a little bit of ash that has dusted them, and they are very
dandruff.
nervous. You wish. They're
Space
very
dandruff.
So you can tell that despite how cool they're being, they will not hesitate to use their weapons.
All right. What's the biggest threat?
You.
You know that you could take the 3 of them. You're not sure how quickly, but when you're in the jail cell, that ain't going to happen. It is probably Shavanah, and not because of her presence in this room. She is an executive, and you imagine that she has gone through some kind of self-defense training, but she's not a slugger. She represents a much higher power and reports to people who are able to do things on a scale you cannot quite comprehend.
Cool. And I get one more?
Yes.
All right. What's my best way out? Or maybe we should explore that in conversation. You don't necessarily have to tell me that.
I will tell you, because I think it is something that you would know. So we'll use it as an opportunity to define this. You know that Shavanah... So Haven is a company-provided vessel. It's a luxury exploration class vessel, but every single one of their ships operates exactly the same. Shavanah, as an executive visiting this ship, would be given a key card by the captain, which would allow her to have full security override to any door that is on lockdown. These cells are one of them. So unless you have one of those key cards, you're not getting out. You don't know how many there are. You know that there would at least be 2, because she would have one, the captain would have one. As far as there being backups, who is to say?
All right. Cool.
Yeah. She says, I'd like to just get a baseline here. Will you tell me your impressions of the doctor?
He was completely out of his depth. He had, I don't know who assigned him to the field, but they should have seen from the very first moment that he was not suited for the job. He never should have been on this mission in the first place. And frankly, that you would trust someone like that with such a sensitive mission says that you don't know enough about how to run your company.
Not that I owe you an explanation, but I assigned the professor to this mission.
Uh-oh.
I did so because until very recently, his progress in a variety of fields has shown me great potential, and I needed him to test those in the field. Until we are able to get a handle on what he is able to do with both magic and technology, I do not have skilled enough technicians to operate his creations. So I took a risk, admittedly, that has backfired, in sending him on a mission. But I assigned him to a detail with a problem solver who I thought would be able to keep a lid on the situation.
Look, my job was to take care of some spoiled little princess who was leaving her planet for the first time to go on some little adventure. And I did that job. And I did it well. I didn't have anything to do with the professor. And I'm insulted that you would question my ability to keep a lid on any situation when what you sent us into was a war zone.
Our intelligence was dated. And for that, I am deeply sorry. Did you witness anything on Bloom which might have hinted at the professor's reticence to complete his tasks or honor the company?
All I witnessed the professor doing was being a scientist who had no idea what it was like to be in the field and was completely lost in how to deal with that. Are you asking me? I don't understand what you're asking me.
Did he express concerns with his directives or ideals which you know to be against the best interest of the company in your presence?
Not in a way that I thought he was serious. And there wasn't much I could do about it at the time because I was trying to keep everybody alive. Look, we wouldn't be human if we didn't sometimes question things. That's a given. But no.
As you have just found out, he has stolen a shuttlecraft and left this ship. Where did he go?
I have no idea. I would tell you if I knew. Because that kind of man and that kind of power is dangerous, especially in one person's hands.
What did he want?
And I think you know that the lifetime I have spent working for the company, the lifetime that my father spent working for the company, the lifetime that his father spent working for the company, I think you should know better than to question my loyalties to this company.
The company has a long history, and if we were to honor every legacy within it with flowers and fireworks, we'd run out of fires. I'm sorry. You've proven yourself countless times, but that is not what we're addressing here today. What did the professor want with the experimental Bloom Erics?
I don't know.
He took it. What was he going to do with it?
Look, I'm smart, but I'm not one of those people who just spends all day dropping something into a beaker and then swirling it around. I have no idea what he wanted to do with it.
How did he create the... He called it an anti-Eric's.
I'm sorry, have you ever battled a 100-foot scorpion?
In simulation.
They have a
Okay.
simulation of that? What are the odds? That's so handy.
Do you want me to do my job? Or do you want me to just spend all day writing notes about what everyone else you sent down there is doing? I did my job. I kept the summoner safe. Can you imagine the kind of shit that you would be in right now if that summoner had died on that planet? You are lucky that I was there.
Just tell me what the anti-Eric's can do.
I don't know. If I did, I would tell you. And you're frankly not building up a lot of goodwill with me right now by keeping me in this goddamn cell.
Ooh, she said damn.
And then I, scratch Snacks so she knows that I'm not upset at her.
And Snacks is doing kind of like an boo thing, except not with the hand, but actually like the ribs of the dinosaur.
Shavana looks down to this creature who is... and takes in kind of the contrast of how sweetly you are cradling this beast and consoling it, and also the look of murder in your eyes. She does not display fear, as you are used to when people come up against you in this state, which is famous among your compatriots, which is why these two guys, despite being heavily armored and armed, were showing you respect. Instead, she says, I have recorded this conversation. I will pass it on to my superiors. If you are cleared, we will consider your standing. Until then, I will have food and beverage sent.
And then I just pick up Snacks and I'm like, she will consider our standing. Yes, she will.
She turns in the same huff you saw her exit the elevator and immediately starts, fucking motherfucker, just cussing under her breath. And she storms out. And as the two large armored fellows nod and follow her, you
What's up, Ken?
Hey, what's up, Rick? Sorry about the whole thing. And it's not dangerous, by the way. I know you said that before, but it's really, I promise it's not. I have a pretty good scalp. We can talk later.
As Ken leaves and decides not to go into the dandruff thing and the doors hits
Yeah, well, again, sorry, it's not a dangerous thing. Sorry, I thought I was clear about that.
You should get that taken care of.
Okay, all right. Well, okay.
These two big bodies clear out of the way, and you notice for the first time that you're not actually alone in the brig. There is a figure in the cell directly across from you. The bars are active on his cage as well. Sam, who is it that she sees in the cell across from her?
She sees a man in sort of a neo-futuristic suit, so a button-up shirt and a sort of wildly patterned tie, a trench coat put over the... Do the brigs have beds?
Yeah.
So his...
An uncomfortable cot.
Yep. Coat put aside, and he's flicking old-fashioned playing cards into a hat.
And come on, Cajun accent. Come on, Cajun accent. Please. I mean, no pressure, Casey, but come on, Cajun accent.
If you wanted to be Gambit, you know.
He doesn't look as young as Gambit, nor as handsome. He looks certainly like, he's definitely got some mileage on him.
I thought maybe you guys had snuck like a, franchise crossover into Void Jumpers all of a sudden. We had X-Men on the team.
It's not too late, mon ami. Wow, seems like they really gave you a raw deal there.
Yeah, it's what they do.
Thought you guys were on the same team.
Man, that lady's on whatever team she thinks will get her ahead. But hey, ain't we are? Ain't we all?
I don't know. My horses don't seem to ever come in.
What are you down here for?
Being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I just got your whole fairy tale. Seems like you're the real deal. They brought you out here to protect a princess, and then you defeated a 100-foot scorpion, and now you're in the brig.
I guess it does kind of seem like a fairy tale when you put it that way.
Yes, it does.
I mean, she's not actually a princess. She's an all-powerful, wizard type person. But
she's an all-powerful wizard princess. And
yeah.
So you're kind of a big deal then, I'm guessing. If they picked you to, keep her out of the pine box.
I guess I should see it that way. At the time, it felt more like I drew the short straw.
Wow.
It was supposed to be a really easy mission.
Well, I got to say, if that's your short straw, you're doing real well in life.
I don't know about that. We both seem to be behind void bars.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem that way, don't it? But at least you got company.
I look down at Snacks and I say, yeah, she's been pretty good so far.
So, you got any friends that are going to bust you out of the clink, or you in here for good?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not too good with making friends.
I don't know, you seem pretty amiable to me.
Listen, if she's any kind of smart, she will realize that I did her a favor by keeping that summoner alive, and she'll let me out. But
yeah, it would seem that way. I mean, everything you said was true. I mean, I'm not the brightest bulb, but I could tell that. I think she knew that too. Seems more personal, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I try not to hurt. I don't know what's going on with her.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Chavanaugh, she got a money sign where the heart's supposed to be.
I don't know. It's not easy doing what she does.
No, it's not. It's, easier to fight off giant monsters?
Sometimes. Those are more uncomplicated. You know who the bad guys are.
Oh, yeah. I guess when you look like Chavanaugh, sometimes people forget that monsters can be pretty too.
Listen, I know I just gave her a bunch of shit, but I do think she has a very difficult job. And I don't want to pretend that that's not true.
Well, does that excuse her making incorrect decisions? Not to totally, absolutely, and in all other ways, but entirely into your business without permission.
Yeah, you seem pretty curious.
Yep. It's one of my many flaws.
What do you do again?
Right now, mostly bet on the wrong horse, collect ex-wives, make too little money.
Did you say collect wives?
Ex-wives.
Ex-wives.
Yeah, not deliberately. I tell you, every one of them was the one. Until she leaves. But, we don't get to pick what we're good at. That seems like what I'm best at. So.
Getting left?
Yep. But I do a great job of setting her to the right fella. So if you're ever in the market, I'm your guy.
I And I just finger guns at him.
We're gonna
go back to playing with snacks.
Sam continues to flick cards into the hat, and the camera cuts to a very different scene. And we find Tag and Bryn stumbling into the VIP suite on the upper deck of Haven, a room that has been reserved for the summoner heir apparent. And I believe the two of you are having the time of your life.
Okay, I did not even think about putting fruit in a basket, and now that I see it I think obviously of course you put fruit in a basket, but I had been thinking see a pear, eat a pear, not take a pear, couple other pears, some clementines, etc. Put them in a basket. So.
Okay, I'm gonna blow your mind, and I go over to a drawer and I pull out some delectable white moon cheese. And I'm like, "Have you had cheese on a pear?"
What? No, that's a thing that we're allowed to do. And I look over my shoulders to make sure there aren't any guards around.
There are not.
No guards.
Okay.
I don't really have a way to. I don't have a knife. I need a knife.
You're a wizard, Harry!
Tag takes out his bladed tonfa and goes, "Oh, no, sorry.
Can you slice the cheese? Does it slice cheese?"
And I stand back a little bit and I say,
"Don't cut my hand off."
No, I'm not gonna. Why would I just throw the cheese at me? I was gonna make a little game.
I'm not gonna throw it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
1. I'm gonna throw after 3, not on 3. After 3. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
1, 2, 3.
And Tag. And it's just like a crumbly gorgonzola, and it just like just explodes everywhere across the room. But some does land in the fruit basket, and oh wow, it's incredible because cheese doesn't taste good, but for some reason
with the fruit,
it's good. Yeah, I don't get it.
With the fruit, it's like it all balances out.
Right.
Oh my god.
This cheese is crumbly. You could have just crumbled it on your fruit. It did not have to be sliced with.
I'm gonna speak with Lisa right now, Trin.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. We were coming up here to do something. I had a plan.
What?
I was gonna call my mom.
You're gonna call your mom.
And I'm gonna tell her about what these people are doing.
Yeah.
This is not right.
What specifically? Which part?
They stole our professor and his Eric's.
Let me pause this real quick.
Wait a minute. Do we know?
Let me. What do these characters know happened to the professor? Because
you don't know anything.
Gotcha. He just. So we last saw him
being escorted away.
Didn't he leave us a message at the end?
We didn't get it, I don't think. I know that they took the Eric's because he told me.
Oh yeah, he just gave it right up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Great. Yeah. Call her up.
I will do that, and I will tell her about the summoner on the Bloom planet and everything. She'll make it right, or I'm gonna call my mom.
And as Bryn picks up the phone, Tag just takes a minute, not quite sure what he does, and does the futuristic Void Jumper equivalent of like taking something out of his pocket to also seem engaged. He's just kind of doodling on his palm. There's nothing in there.
Okay, you're standing visibly in the background, but just doodling on your palm. And Bryn, you pull out the console that you know will dial a vid call to your mother. And the console's working. It's refreshingly apparent because of the communication issues you had while on the Bloom planet. This is a functioning vid screen. And so you input the recipient, which is Amelia.
Yes.
Amelia, the summoner of the fire planet. This would be like a number nobody fucking has, but you just know it by heart because it's your home phone.
It's like a single-digit number. It's like 4 or something. It's like the people who are right there at the beginning of Twitter can just be like L.
And so you put it in, and there is the expected delay that it would take. I was thinking about how, just outside of the scene, recently I was thinking about how timelines work in space and how time travel, like the time of travel and the time of communication. And I've realized that there are a device that the company has made, and it's a principal source of income. They have void relays, which allow inter-system jumps and communications to happen much faster than they would be able to in a safe way. And so you are actually able to just experience a slight delay before your line is met with nothing.
I tap it. Is this thing working? It always works.
Yeah, you're tapping it. It's working. The call... It's not like the line's busy or you've dialed wrong. You've never seen this error message which like pops up on the screen and informs you that communication with this number is impossible at the moment. So you back out a little bit and you think, well, fuck it. Like, I can't call mom direct. I'll just call like the Palace line. And communication with the Palace line is impossible at this moment. You try another line, like pop, pop, pop. Every line's an error until eventually you're just like, fuck it. I'll just call like the main planetary relay, which handles all of the things, the operator bank for the Fire Planet, and pop. Communication with the Fire Planet is impossible right now. And as you're just smashing buttons in this drunken state, you do notice that you actually have a message blinking, waiting for you. And when you cue it up, it is in fact your mother. She looks tired, which is rare for her. She prioritizes health, and rest, and she's just like this well-balanced individual and believes that leadership starts when I wake up in the morning. And so you've just had this very positive role model of somebody who takes care of themselves, prioritizes getting enough sleep and eating well. And so seeing your mother with bags underneath her eyes and a little gaunt is off-putting. She doesn't look like a zombie, but she just doesn't look like the glowing summoner you spoke to right before you went down to the Bloom Planet. And she does this thing where it's like the thing's recording and she's aware of it, and she laughs at herself for not speaking yet, and you could tell she's trying to find the words. She waves and laughs again, and she says, "Bryn, honey, I'm sorry I missed you. I know that you're down on Bloom now, and hopefully your meeting with Summoner Langorium is going well. And I'm sure he's taking care of you because he is a truly wonderful man. And I hope you are sending him my love. But I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you this before you left, but I didn't want to interrupt your focus, and I know that I asked you to be on your best behavior, and I didn't want to undermine my own request by giving you some heavy news, which is, I guess, why I called Haven, and I knew I would be sent straight to the answering machine, so forgive me. I am worried about Varric, my advisor. He's been acting strange lately. And we've been having some strange power fluctuations, and some of the mining outposts outside of town have been showing some strange seismic activity, and in Varric's attempt to deal with it, he's been conducting some experiments in the palace, and he's been acting strangely. And I don't know what I'm saying. I just know that you and he have had an interesting relationship, and that for much of your life he counseled you and taught you. I'm not looking for an answer, Bryn. I'm just looking for somebody to talk to, and I just haven't had anybody nearby lately, and I miss you terribly. And I don't know. And then the screen kind of jiggles a little bit, and she says, "You see, the goddamn power fluctuations." And as she turns around, the screen cuts out for a second and comes back just for a moment. And she's very close to the camera, and she says, "Bryn, if you can hear me!" And then a red flash washes over the camera, and it cuts out. Because it's difficult to describe some of these things, the red flash that you saw wash over the camera is very similar to the explosion of bloom energy that you encountered on the planet. And looking at the timestamp on this message would tell you that it happened at the exact moment that the bloom energy washed over your spaceship when you were landing.
Oh, no.
And that is the end of the message.
Oh, geez, Bryn. How you doing?
Not good.
No, obviously not. Oh my God.
We have to go. We've got to go. We've got to go back to my planet. Right now.
Right now. And
How do we get off the ship? Or
well,
can we
I
start
think
the ship?
probably be faster to just take the ship. I mean, let's call Captain Matt Vansel and just have him wheel this puppy around. I mean, I
Okay.
think that we're just in a holding pattern right now, right? Just a holding pattern in space. Let's set course for fire.
Okay. Can I call him, or do I have to actually go down the elevators?
You could call him.
Okay, I'm calling him.
Okay. You are connected immediately. You are aware, you take some of this for granted because you've been a summoner your entire life, but you're not adult because your mother made sure to teach you how to be respectful. But you have a direct line to the captain on the ship, which is something no one else on this ship has. You are put through to him on the bridge, and the vid screen pops up in a way that surprises him. Behind him, you can see a door that would lead to the hallway. The bridge is very close to your quarters. Across the hall from you are the captain's quarters, and the bridge is actually, like, the door to it would be 6 feet away. No one's allowed on the bridge except the crew. But you do see next to the door, flanking it, 2 company operatives over his shoulder, which is not too crazy because they've been all over this ship, but to see them on the bridge is a little startling. And he turns to the camera and says, Sonar, what can I do for you?
I need you to set a course for the fire planet immediately.
Sir, can you hear us?
I
Yeah,
can hear you
that's
just
for-
fine, young man.
For the fire planet immediately.
I will, if you will have me, I will meet you in your quarters.
No, immediately. We mean we have to go very quickly. How about you set the course and then we can talk about it on the way?
Summoner, would that
No,
be okay?
I'm just the parallel. She's the summoner.
I think he knows.
Well, he said, say we were talking, and he said summoner. I thought,
Fine, but can you get here in under 5 minutes? This is important. Like right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
He cancels the feed. We're going to cut back to a quick moment in the brig. I realize that I've restricted your guys' movement throughout the ship by putting the 2 of you in jail cells. That doesn't mean I want to cut you out of the action. I will just introduce an offer into the room, and if you have any ideas, we'll go with it, and if not, we'll cut back, and we will continue to pop back and see what happens in the brig. The first thing that happens is, as you're sitting there for a rather long and uncomfortable time with Rex just petting the Stegosaurus and Sam...
I'm laying
running
down
out-
on my cot now and just like kind of bouncing her up and down on my chest.
Of course.
Yeah.
She has gone to the bathroom in the corner of the cell, but it's actually just a pile of leaves. Sam has exhausted his cards, retrieved all of them, and begun again. And the door hisses open, and 2 problem solvers walk in and station themselves on either side of the door. These are not the elite guard who you saw earlier. These are just 2 problem solvers of a lower rank than the gentleman who escorted you in. And they
are both wearing red shirts, incidentally, apropos of absolutely nothing at all.
And they take up positions on either side of the door.
Hey, Bert. How's
Hey,
it
Rex.
going?
It's going okay.
I walk up to him, and I'm still holding snacks, and say like, "Hey, look at my buddy! I got a new buddy when I was down in Bloom Planet."
Is that one of those weird creatures that they have down there?
He got all kinds of weird stuff down there. Well, this little gal's named Snacks.
Cool. The other guy walks over and says, hey Rex,
Yeah.
what are you in for?
What did they tell you I was in here for?
They just said to watch the door and not to piss you off.
I'm in here for being too damn cool. That's what I'm in here for.
Shit. I believe it. The other guy looks uncomfortable. But this guy says, did he do that? He points over his shoulder to the cell behind him and says, did he do it?
Do what?
Did he do it?
Do what?
He looks to his buddy and he says, if she has to ask, she doesn't know. And they walk back over to the door because his friend kind of gives him a like, all right, stop fucking around. Bert kind of takes a lead and walks him back open the door. He's like, Rex, I'm sorry. We shouldn't be talking to you. You understand.
Oh, yeah. I get it, guys. No harm, no foul. Do you think you could get me something to eat, though? I'm really hungry.
Yeah, sure. You got it. He turns around on the wall panel and types up on the little like view screen and puts him through, and he says, prisoners need food. He looks over to you, Sam, and he says, you hungry?
Does that thing make whiskey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then let's have dinner.
I'll see what I can do. And he fumbles with the view screen. We cut back to Bryn and Tag, who are not waiting for very long. And Captain Matt Vansel arrives immediately. He cues the chime outside the door, does not enter until you open it.
I open it.
He asks, and kind of looks over his shoulder subtly and says, may I come in?
Yes.
You want some fruit?
There's just cheese crumbs all over the floor.
He actually,
I
like,
don't know what happened. That was here before we got here. But I'll tell you what I know didn't happen. I didn't hit it with this, and I hold up like a gorgonzola encrusted blade.
Did you clean after you used that on creatures on the Bloom Planet?
Oh,
no.
you're getting into the science of how the thing works.
That was just someone in chat noted that.
My manners kick in, and I scoop cheese on some fruit, and I'm like, here.
He laughs and he actually takes it, and he takes a huge bite, and you can see his muscles relax. He actually says, he chews it, and with a full mouth says, I don't think I've eaten since yesterday. I thank you very much. And he takes, if I may, he takes a moment to just like scarf this food down rather unceremoniously and work it down. He says, do you got any coffee?
I got space bubbles.
I'm not allowed to drink, but
That'd be bad.
thank you very much.
Drive the ship. Never mind.
He says, Summoner, I have some unfortunate news.
Please don't tell me it's about my planet.
Oh, we weren't supposed to have the fruit in the basket? That was just for show?
That was for everyone. You're allowed to have the fruit.
Okay.
He says, our course has been set.
Well, unset it. Isn't it just putting in coordinates?
Yes. Unfortunately, in this instance, I do not have the authority to choose our next destination.
I have the authority. I'm telling you. There's nobody I'm pretty sure I never get to use my authority, and I would like to use it right now.
I want you to know that I know who you are, And I respect your mother and what she's done on the Fire Planet very much. And
Well, that's relevant because that's where we need to go, to the Fire Planet, because of her. I think she needs help.
Yes. I don't know how to put this lightly. Shavanah has taken control of the vessel.
Ugh.
There is a rather dangerous criminal who has been transported to this ship. The intention being that the professor would have some way to defuse the situation. But with his abrupt exit, we have been rerouted in order to deal with our cargo.
With his abrupt exit.
What do you mean it's abrupt exit?
You just see his face fall and he realizes that he's gonna be the one to deliver this news. And he says, shit.
Is he dead?
No, I wish. The professor has stolen some, I don't know what, because no one is saying the names of things.
Yeah,
Property of the company.
That sounds like him. I'd say that's about right.
And in making an escape from this ship, killed 2 men,
Oh.
stole a shuttlecraft
Oh.
and a robot, and disappeared.
Well, that wouldn't have necessarily been on my Professor Bingo card.
Nor would it have been on mine, sir.
Okay, well, Captain, I understand that this is bad, but why we still need to go to the Fire Planet. So the professor left and he took some stuff. So what?
Yeah, we've got a prison on my planet. Whoever this person is, it can't be any more dangerous than what we just fought. And my mother is in trouble. I have got to get back to her.
This person is outside of our control. And the little bit that has been explained to me has made it very clear that his presence on this ship is putting us all in danger. There is an escort vessel that Shavanah took to bring us here. It is a similarly classed exploration ship named Seraph. It is flying alongside us. They took a risk transporting the prisoner from that ship to ours. They have made it very clear that he will not be moved again until it is to a permanent prison facility on the water planet, where he will be able to be understood in some capacity that apparently only the professor could manage. It is foolish that they would have tried to do this in space, but apparently time was of the essence and they had no choice. So yes, I apologize, Summoner. This has all been made clear to me less than 20 minutes ago, and I'm doing my best to go with the flow because I'm a little bit restricted.
I appreciate it. Okay, problem solved. Just get me an escape pod. I'll take it to the Fire Planet myself.
He just starts laughing and grabs another slice of pear, and he says, I've told you everything I know. I ask that you remain in your cabin until we have a better understanding of the situation, but I should not be here anymore. And as he turns to leave, your door chime happens again.
My door chime?
He turns to you and says, were you expecting anyone?
I don't know. It's been a real clusterfuck of a day. Who knows? It could be anybody.
One way to find out.
The chime happens again, and the captain looks very sure that he will not be the one opening the door.
Would you like to hide? My restroom is right there.
I would very much like that. I'm going to resist the urge.
I mean, you could stay in there and eat some pears, but
He's
whatever.
not hiding.
All right, I'm gonna open the door.
He's not hiding. Shavana is on the other side with her two big goons. And she says, Captain, you're needed on the bridge if you wouldn't mind immediately.
Shavana, may I present to you Bryn? And I bow, but I'm not sure who to bow to, so I just kind of bow right in the middle of them.
The captain steps around Tag, who stays in the bow, and he leaves without another word. Shavana is now standing in your doorway, and she says, Summoner, would you do me the courtesy of joining me for a quick conversation?
Sure. Go ahead and speak.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to step into the library.
The library? All
I've
right.
set up a temporary office in the library, yes.
I think we could probably just talk here. We're sort of we were celebrating. It's not as much of a celebration anymore, but what's up?
If you wouldn't mind, esteemed Parallel, I would like to speak to the summoner alone.
Oh, no.
I turn to Peg, and I look at him, and I'm like, it's okay. And I pat on the tooth communicator thing in my pocket, and I'm like, just push that dude.
And I say with no subtlety, okay. And I just start winking
the big winks.
And I turn to Shavana and I say, all right.
All right, Shavana, you can go, and I will stay here.
There's no humor in her face as she says, I'm so relieved we were able to come to such an agreeable conclusion. And then turns around and leads Bryn towards the library, which happens to be on the main deck of the ship and one floor down. We're going to cut back to the brig. There's a door chime similar to the one that we heard of Bryn's, but much less musical. And your guards turn to open the door. Everyone covers their ears. And somebody walks in holding a tray of food. And on it there are two small, like, plastic cups of liquid. It's a guard who brings it in, and the two who are in here say, oh, we'll take it from here, Mike. And he leaves. And Bert goes over to Rex's cell, and there's a small control panel on the wall next to it. And he types in a few buttons, which you cannot see. And you actually can, from where you are.
Okay.
The code that he types in is 721, and then he hits what looks like an upside-down star twice. He doesn't even think, like I didn't, to
How is a
worry
star
about
upside down?
The point at the
think
bottom.
I had
it's
very
not the
similar
star sign.
questions.
It looks like a pentagram.
Point at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what the brim on the hat is for.
He doesn't even think to hide it from you, and Sam, you do see the code. And what you notice is that there's a small part of the bars on a hinge with locks that go into the floor. It would be enough to slide this tray with a stack of food on top of it underneath. The void energy stops just on that hinge. It flips up after unlocking, and he slides the tray underneath. The cup that he took off the tray, he walks back over to the other cell with and holds it out so that, Sam, you would need to carefully reach through the bars to hold it. And he offers it to you.
Yeah, I can manage that.
He then holds a finger in the air after you take it, and he pulls a little flask out of his vest. And he says, buddy, you're going to need something stronger than this where you're going, but hey, cheers. and he pours a generous dollop into your cup of what looks like maybe bad coffee, like murky coffee, and then he takes a little swig himself. His buddy is like not pleased about this, but doesn't say anything, and he puts the flask back in his pocket.
Okay. I carefully pull my arm back into my cell, give it a little smell. Does it smell like a whiskey, or does it smell like a homebrew, maybe something that came out of engineering? What am I dealing with here?
It seems like the kind of homebrew that people who are used to space travel and running out of supplies have gotten really good at making.
Okay, great. So something with a little shark bite. It's not going to feel good, but all right, here we go. Let's check out the vintage. I take enough to get a nice swish around in my mouth before committing. Check out the tannins on this bad boy.
What does it taste like?
Definitely some fuel in there. Definitely some fuel. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Yep. Dinner of champions right there.
The guy goes, eh? Eh?
Is that your doing, or is there somebody on the ship?
No, there's
You
we got a guy.
Nice. Every ship has a guy. I'm glad
Every ship has a guy.
Woo. Well, to your good health, because to your good health, sir. Thank you.
He unscrews the lid again, cheers you, takes a sip, and offers it to his buddy. His buddy takes it, screws the lid back on, and puts it into his coat pocket with a frown.
Oh. Okay. All right. If you're in a bad mood, that would help.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. And he steps back to take his place at the side of the door. His buddy's a little torn. He seems to be enjoying your company, and you're used to reading people because that is your job. He's not your friend. He's just comfortable in the power dynamic of realizing that he can let his guard down around you because you're in a enchanted cell, and so he's just bored, probably. I tell you this information so that you just are more aware of where these dudes might be coming from.
That's great. Yeah. Well, you guys have an ETA on when we're going to get this show on the road? I'm just trying to figure out how to enjoy my last, moments of breathing.
We will probably make it to the Void Relay in 2-3 hours, they said. After the jump, maybe day and a half.
Wow. It's not long. It's not long at all. Ooh. What'd you get? What'd you get for dinner?
What did you get for dinner, Rex?
Cheeseburgers.
How many?
8.
Are there any sides?
No.
There's 8 cheeseburgers. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm taking some of the buns off and feeding those to snacks.
People love them.
Oh, wow. That's rich. You like the finer things, and that makes me happy. I'm glad to spend my last of days in such fine company.
Are these guards still hanging out, or have they kind of stepped back?
They're just resuming their position on the sides of the door.
I look across towards Sam and I say, "You don't want one of these?" And I hold up one of the cheeseburgers. And then before he can answer, I just throw it through my bars towards his.
Great, I definitely try to catch it.
Roll act under pressure.
Priming the pump.
Nope, definitely dropping my dice.
Want to give me a little taste of what that donation text was? I didn't get to hear it in my earphones.
Rob McClenn says, priming the pump.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Woo! All right, I have to go
Trained
retrieve my
ourselves.
dice.
It's like weird Pavlovian response.
Yeah, so Casey, you'll be rolling act under pressure. It's going to be a plus cool roll.
All right, here we go. 10.
Excellent. You can tell me exactly what happens in your attempt to catch this cheeseburger, which is flying through the bars of your cell and will barely be making it in.
So what happens is Rex, in her sort of nonchalant and immediate toss, throws the burger sideways so that it could possibly go between the bars. But her strength is so profound and it's done with such a whip that the burger actually splits top bun and bottom bun, and instead of colliding with the bars, actually goes through. Each one goes through like quarters into a jukebox, and Sam is able to catch the two separate halves of the cheeseburger.
Perfect. You got a cheeseburger now, my man.
Well, I'm gonna put that bad boy together. It's probably the last one I'm gonna have. So, I gotta say, I never thought the day would come where I would know I was eating my last cheeseburger. You just never think about it like that. You think it's going to be like your light flashes before your eyes, or there's like a big white light or something like that. And now somehow, all I can think about is each one of these little pickles, like a little palace of flavor.
Crunch. Satisfying crunch.
How often do your cheeseburgers crunch, my friend?
I put a lot of pickles on them.
Potato chips too.
Yeah.
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
All right, and we cut back as Sam is enjoying the last cheeseburger that he will definitely ever eat for the rest of his life.
And I'm over there with all of my other 7 being like, nah, that one's enough.
It is.
We cut back to the library. This is the first time you've been in the library. It is... Do I have any notes about the library? Do I, Bryn? Do I?
Of books.
Of course you do. You're very prepared.
I do not.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
I just thought of an idea. Tag, we're going to do Year to See next. Please remind me. Okay? Buddy, just do me that one favor. Remind me that we're doing Year to See next.
I'll do my best.
Okay. So as you're approaching the doors to the library, they slide open before you become within range of the sensor, and the librarian, who you have only seen in passing, walks out. She is young and a little nerdy, and she is carrying a stack of what look like antique books, which are not completely out of style in this world, though they are cumbersome in space travel. So usually when you're on a ship, you would be using digital literature. She has a couple books, and they look old. And on top of that, there is a pouch. And as she walks out and is startled by seeing you two, she says, I'm sorry. I was just I was just grabbing some of my things since I had been since you're using the library as your office there, Miss
Okay, take your time.
Yes, thank you. Sorry so much. Sorry. And she pivots in a way where you can tell that she's trying to move the books to kind of maybe hide the little bag that she's carrying. And she says, I'm so sorry. I'll get out of your way. I just had a few things left in there that I wanted to... I'm doing some... and she just leaves. She's my... I was just doing some research, and I didn't want to... and she heads towards the lift. Shavana is a bit too distracted for that. Her guards take position outside the door and do not follow her in. You do. She walks over to a desk and sits down, and there are 2 other guards who are in the room. They are both holding the type... I don't know how many of you live and die in restaurants your entire life, or at least you did before 2020. But they are holding the type of small broom and dustpan that you would use to spot sweep a restaurant floor. And they are trying to deal with 2 rather large piles of ashes, which keep popping and swirling, and little tufts of energy are kind of popping off of them, and they are now kind of covered in this light dusting of the ash you saw on the shoulders of the gentleman outside, and they are just trying to dispose of these things and place this into like biohazard containers. And Shavana snaps her fingers and waves them away, and they dump their last little dustpan and walk out. And she sits down and she motions. She actually stands and motions for you to sit first. On second thought, she catches herself and motions for you to sit first.
I stand next to my chair and I look at her. I'm like, yes.
She sighs and also stays standing and clenches her teeth and says, "Thank you, Summoner, for joining me. If you don't mind." And she reaches into her desk drawer and pulls out a little, it looks like a pen. She pushes a button on it, and the first thing that it does is 3 little legs pop out of it like a little tripod. And she sets it on her side of the desk. And when she lets go of it, 3 other little legs pop up on the top, and they start to spin like a little portable fan. And you feel your connection to Tag end.
What?
What?
That's awful.
Just so we're not
Am I still alive?
You feel...
I knew I came in with not that much health, and that's... Well...
To rephrase, you feel your connection to Tag get interrupted.
Right.
As his
Okay.
body tumbles lifelessly to the floor of the VIP.
Like what is that, an EMP type thing?
Similarly, yes. Roll investigate a mystery. Actually, you don't need to, because none of the questions, they all apply to fucking monsters. I'll come up with my own list of questions soon, okay? I'm going to answer this question. You've
Okay.
seen these before. It's like EMP if EMP could affect magic.
Okay.
And so this has no effect on electronic devices, but that is definitely why your connection has been interrupted.
Well, I'm going to test it out. I'm going to try to do a little secret magic with my fingers to see if she interrupted it.
What do you want to do?
Stumble. I just want to... I want to look at... there's an open book on the ground, and I want to make it shut.
Okay. Roll.
Secretly.
You're drunk, which is why I'm making you do this.
Yes.
I've had some thoughts from some very smart people that have helped me think about how we're going to be using magic, of which I will be implementing those things. In this instance, because you're drunk, I would like you to roll use magic, despite the fact that this is a relatively simple task for an all-powerful super being like yourself, as you consider yourself.
Do I roll at disadvantage, or do I get to add weird?
You could add weird.
9.
Okay. The book shuts so violently that it flips up into the air.
Whoops!
And then lands very loudly. And Shavana looks at you, looks at the book, then looks at the device on her desk, and says, "Our instruments are finely tuned."
That wasn't me. This place is haunted. I mean, you got dust spirits everywhere. It probably did that to the book. Anyways.
Oh, I want that to work so badly.
She just knows that it's not haunted, which is the only reason I'm not going to give you the chance to do this. But to further that line of thought, she does say, if you're curious as to what effect this has on you, we've calibrated it to simply restrict any subvocal communication which may be occurring. Your powers are at your disposal.
How far away am I? Like a floor above them?
Yeah, you are actually a floor above them and on the opposite end of the ship.
Okay. I look at the 2 goons are still there with me.
No, they actually left. You're in the Summoner's VIP suite by yourself.
Whoa!
I
Bubble
opened the door
bath.
just a crack, and I sort of put my mouth outside the door, and I go, Bryn, the plan isn't working. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
You are met with silence. Actually, an echo of that kind of rolls down the hallway and bounces around the metal walls.
Very intently, just in case I can hear anything, but I cannot.
Shavana says, Summoner, I would like to... Are you sure that you wouldn't prefer to sit?
No, actually, because I need to go to the fire planet and I don't have time for niceties. We need to go. You can give me an escape pod. The captain told me all about it. We got some crazy prisoner on board that you gotta get somewhere, but just give me a pod.
Her eyebrows raise when you say that the captain told you all about an escape pod.
I mean, I think it's a captain. They all look the same. I didn't catch his name.
I'm just making myself a note for no reason.
So if I do notice, I don't want to interrupt the scene, but if I do notice that this communication is severed, I am just wandering about the craft looking for her.
Sure. What we'll do is we'll delay that, but when we do address it, we can get back into this time frame so that if you have any time sensitive and actions you'd like to take, they will not be delayed.
No, it's no plan. I'm just not going to sit in the room if I can't hear her. I'm going to start looking for her.
Yeah, definitely. You walk out and start wandering. I have a planned encounter, which I think would happen when you're wandering.
Okay.
So yeah, she says, she doesn't say anything about what you just said about the captain or trying to cover your tracks. She merely registers it. And she says, will you excuse me for just one moment? And she walks away to the door, opens it, and you see her whisper to somebody outside, and the door closes. And she walks back to you. She then says, Summoner, yes, I understand. I would like to be completely honest with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
First of all, I would like to apologize for what happened on the Preserve and what happened at our facility when you visited it. Our intel was dated, and we never would have asked you or assisted in putting you in any danger. So I am very sorry. And I know that this reflects us poorly, but let me assure you, this is an evolving situation which extends far beyond the Preserve, and we are trying in this moment to handle it as best as we can. I am just happy that you are here and safe.
Well, yeah, we're pretty lucky, and I've got a bone to pick with you. Actually, several bones, but we'll get to that in a minute. I need to go see my mother. I got a distress call from her. That is number one important to me right now.
You were able to get through to her?
No, she sent me a message. I don't know what to say to you because I don't know if you're going to use it against me later, but...
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Again, in an effort to be completely honest, I was merely surprised that you may have been able to reach her, because we have been unable to contact any of our facilities on any of the planets.
Any of the planets?
Yes.
So what happened on Bloom? You guys have been doing this on every planet? This is insane!
I don't know to what you are referring. The situation on the Bloom planet was outside of our control, and we aren't entirely sure how it might have affected the other systems in the planet, and that is the emergent nature of what is happening right now. This information is all new. We've had very little time since your departure to address it, but the moment that Bloom was locked down and cut you off from communication with us, every other planet in the system, like clockwork, triggered in a domino effect, going across the system one after the other. Within minutes, we were locked out of communication for every single one of the planets. We don't know how to fix it. And we were certain that we would be unable to until the field around the Bloom planet dropped. And you whatever it was that you did dropped that barrier. I have a rather large favor to ask of you, Summoner.
Oh boy.
We have been unable to make contact with any of the planets in more ways than just communication through our technology. The fields that surround them are a kind of force field we have never come across. It is similar to the technology we have used to build similar force fields, but they are all dependent on magnification devices that have been 100% synthesized using our technology. These fields which have sprung up around each of the planets seems to be, though it is, to, pardon my language, fucking lunacy, organic. We are, myself and the people whom I report to are in the midst, those who are not still locked on planet and outside of communication, but we do have a few bases on a few of the moons and a few crafts in orbit. We have been discussing contingency plans. One of them revolves around a vessel which we have been experimenting with in the hold of this ship. While none of our other ships are able to get down to the planet, we believe this experimental craft would be able to get you to a planet's surface. We are at your mercy, Summoner. We need you to help us solve this problem.
Okay. But I start with Fire Planet. My allegiance is there. That's the most important place for me. I cannot be a fully functioning summoner yet. I need my mother.
Unfortunately, I will be unable to grant you that request.
Why?
I want to be clear that it does not hinge on your agreement to do this task or not. But there is a anomaly in the hold of this ship. Prisoner is such a strong word. An unknown which needs to be dealt with, and his presence here has put us all at risk.
Does he have magical abilities?
I am unable to go into the specificity of that situation. We need to deliver him to the water planet. And despite your desire to check on personal liaison, I need to prioritize the safety of this ship and the company's interests in this matter. We will be going to the water planet whether you want to or not.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you need?
It is a rather large ask. The Void Jumper, as the technicians have been prone to call it, is a vessel that will get you to a planet's surface. It has no return capability. It is a dropship in the most literal sense. The enchantments and the technology that we have been developing should allow it to punch through the barriers of the planet and create an opening that will last long enough for it to slip inside. That is a theory, one we have not tried. You would need to go down to the surface of these planets and do whatever it is you did on the Bloom planet to drop the barriers so that we may resume control, protection of the population there.
All right, I'll need a couple things. I'll need Rex. I'll need Tag. We don't have the professor, so I'm going to need somebody else that can work with objects and whatever he did.
Yes. Again, an emergent situation and quite complicated. We can provide you with our Arcano engineer who is aboard the vessel. His name is Milk Felling. I believe you've met him. He should be able to accomplish many of the things that the professor was able to do. I will need a full debriefing of what you know about the professor and the things he accomplished on the planet. Your parallel is your steward, and you may do as you see fit with him. We can provide accommodations. As for Rex, I regret to inform you that she too will be joining the... Rex, her case is being decided right now, and she is no longer an active member of the company's problem solver unit.
If you want me to do this, she will become active again. You can have her once we're done, but I need her for this mission.
Summoner, let me be absolutely clear. I am doing my best to honor your station, but you must understand that your station is dependent on a world no one can make contact with, and a lineage which, for all intents and purposes, has been removed from the galactic equation as of yesterday. So while I do respect you, and I hope we can find a way to work together, this is not something I'm willing to take lightly, nor anything I'm willing to budge on as far as what I deem is a safe way and an effective way to go about this. We're going to the water planet, and you'll be going to the surface. What happens to Rex afterwards will be decided by her employer, who I represent. So if that makes sense to you, I would be happy to entertain other options for her replacement.
I walk over to the book that I slammed, and I grab it. And I say, would it be a disservice to you if I take this book?
The library is at your disposal, Summoner.
Thank you. I take the book, and I say, I'm going to go up to my quarters, and I'm going to freshen up, because it's been a long day. You can brief me with what you need, but you need to give me, 2 hours.
That sounds agreeable.
All right. And I try to not stumble and turn on my heel.
You, in the adrenaline kick from this little endeavor, feel remarkably clear-headed in response to your previous intoxication, and your exit is flawless.
Yay! Swish, swish.
We cut to the hallway, where Tag is not as flawless and wandering around.
Excuse me. First of all. Second of all, perhaps this would be a moment for me to abdicate from the spotlight, because we just got these two juicy characters sitting in a cell, and I'm itching to see.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna cut to the break.
I can always wander a hallway and be a delight, but.
Well, I want to see what the summoner's gonna do next.
We'll get back to the summoner. We
can all fight about seeing what. That's actually a very nice testament to us liking each other and respecting each other.
I agree, but I think that Tag is right, and I did have something come up in a previous scene that I'd like to address. So, the two of you, Sam and Rex, are sitting in a relatively quiet brig. There are two guards who are paying you little attention. Sam has recently finished his last cheeseburger. Rex is making her way through the fifth, which is a surprising amount of cheeseburgers to get through. And so quickly, when the door to the brig hisses open, and Sam, somebody is led into the room who you do not recognize, but Rex immediately notices is Captain Matt Vansel. He is in handcuffs, and he is being led to the cell in the back of the room. And he is saying, I don't understand. If anything, I was doing exactly what Shavana asked me to do. I told them that they shouldn't escape. I told them that they should just listen to what they had to say. And the guards, who are Shavana's personal guards, say, none of these decisions are being made by us, buddy. And they open up the cell and let him in and close it. They do not take off his handcuffs, and and the void enchantment activates on the cell. And Captain Matt Vansel turns and looks at you guys in a rather bewildered state.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Hey, Captain.
Rex,
What have they got you down here for?
I believe I may have given the summoner the wrong impression about a rather offhanded comment she made. It
Sorry,
seems
what?
she was pretty dead set on changing the course of the ship, and when I told her I couldn't help her with that, she thought that taking an escape pod would be a good idea, and I think that maybe she told that to Shavana.
Oh, buddy.
It's rough, buddy.
That's rough, buddy.
Sounds like a mutiny.
It feels rather like one, yes. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Sam Hagen.
At the mention of your name, his eyes open very wide. And he says,
Not what you expected, huh?
"No, not at all." And he backs up towards the back of his cell and leans into the metal wall at the edge, putting as much distance between himself and Sam as he can.
And I turn back to Sam and I say, what are you in here for? And why is this your last cheeseburger, pray tell?
Oh, I won't bore you with the details, but I was actually, apparently, the company's not the finest of folks, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, and based off, your imprisonment here, as well as...
And as subtly as possible, I try and motion to him in some, indistinct way that they can hear everything that we're saying right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still in the room, right? The two guards are in the
There's two dudes, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
Two dudes! Two dudes!
just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's, I think now with, Captain Matt here, it might be worth trying to get out of here,
The guards perk up, but besides it being not a discussion that they hope you are having, they don't seem all that confident that you'll be able to get out, but they are definitely aware that you are talking about escape.
But, Bert, it's time. Go ahead and knock your buddy out and let us all out so we can escape.
He laughs, but his buddy looks at him suspiciously. And the guy kind of slaps him on the back of the head, and he's like, "Don't be an idiot."
Oh, yeah. So, Rex, I've got this thing. You probably could tell by, maybe the way I dress that, I have a fondness for certain activities. Like, you ever been to Lightning? They got some of the best, lightning horses you've ever seen. And, betting on these horses, one of my favorite pastimes. Playing cards, favorite pastime. And over the years, you kind of get this sense of when people aren't being fully forthcoming. And I just want you to know that when Shavana was down here, said that you were going to get out, or they were going to, figure out what was going on, that wasn't entirely true.
And there's part of, and I take that in, and there's part of me that doesn't want to believe him, that feels very righteous in my conviction that, no, she's going to see that I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and that, that I did my job down there, and that it's in her best interest to keep me working for the company. But there's another part of me that's listening, that knows what the company is capable of, and thinks, this guy could be right.
When Sam is adhering to his code, which he is, one of the byproducts is that people can always tell when I'm adamantly being sincere. And I think this might be one of those times.
Sure. Yeah, Casey, game mechanics-wise, is playing an interesting class from the Tome of Mysteries expansion to Monster of the Week called the Gumshoe, which we are basing his character on, his Private Eye. And one of those character traits that he's chosen is this ability. And so, Rex, in that moment, you get the feeling that it's not that this guy looks like he's a company man that would know the inside track, but you do get the feeling that maybe this is somebody who's been burned by the company before and knows what it feels like. And without a doubt, you know he's telling you the truth.
Of course, you don't have to take my word for it. You bring Chavanaugh back down here, or, maybe one of these flatfoots might even be able to tell you the truth.
They looked at each other, and the guy who poured you the shot initially is about to speak up, and Bert goes, and they stay silent.
I motion Bert over to the cell.
He very reluctantly approaches, staying outside of arm's reach.
Listen, I didn't do a goddamn thing wrong on that planet. You know me. You've known me for years. You know that that's absolutely not who I am. And this is bullshit. And yeah, that captain's an idiot, but he doesn't belong to the brig either. And then I sarcastically salute the captain.
He sarcastically tries to salute you back and realizes that he's handcuffed. Bert looks at you and he does, after you make this plea, he does step within arm's reach, and he says, Rex, come on. Think about it. I'm in that cell. You're standing out here. And I tell you that the company's wrong. The company's made a mistake. The company gives a fuck about morality or somebody else's playbook. And I need your help to get out. What would you do?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I step back.
He's ashamed. It's obvious. But he, again, reluctantly returns to his post. We're going to cut back to Tag now, who is wandering the halls.
Right, I think so the captain came pretty quick from the bridge where he was to the VIP suite, right?
Yeah.
So I think I kind of amble my way to the bridge and kind of just slowly crack the door. I think part of the inebriation is that I don't have a great master plan, but you know how some people, when they are in full control of their bodies, can actually be a little more self-conscious and therefore loud and stumbly before? I think he's at that sweet spot of Space Bubbly where he is pretty dopey, but actually doing an all right job, just kind of staying off of everyone's radar as he steps into the back of the bridge.
Okay.
Who's in there?
So you would see this before you make the decision to step onto the bridge. So I'm just going to give you this information if that changes.
Sure.
Much like there are 2 guards posted in the brig alongside the door, you did see on the vid screen when you called the captain that there are 2 other guards posted on the either side of the door to the bridge. And when you open it, they are there. I will say that they are not close enough to hear the door open, which will give you an opportunity to go into the situation without an immediate alarm being raised. Sure. But there are 2 guards there. There is also a list of NPCs that I have about the bridge, and I'll tell you what's up. There are 3 stations on the bridge. There is the captain's chair, and I've been watching Star Trek The Next Generation, so that's what it looks like.
Yes.
It is in the center on a raised platform. And then there are 2 other stations. There is a navigation console. You wouldn't necessarily know the complexities of this, but you do see a lot of like maps and shit on the screens. So you get the idea that maybe that's what that is. And then there's also a communications station. Both of these stations are being manned. The person at the map station is a woman. She looks like a savvy vet in the middle of her career.
A stabby vet?
Savvy.
Oh, like I thought, like a veteran of stabbing. I thought I like her.
She can also be stabby, you know?
Yeah. You never know.
A savvy stabber.
Yeah.
She's just methodically combing through, flipping through different images, looking at different planets. They're represented by their color and symbol on these screens, so you pick them up: lightning, fire, water. But the person at the communication station isn't so calm. She's got a headset on and is like flipping through different channels and taking notes on regular pen and paper, as well as typing things in, and just kind of like going nuts on this thing. The captain's station is empty. So there's 2 guards and 2 people at some stations. They wouldn't be able to see you. You could walk 10 feet into this room before they'd notice that you're there. They are facing the front, where a large window shows space.
Sure.
And you can see that you're in orbit. You're not in orbit. You're like actually just kind of in the dead of space, headed towards some relay you've heard, but that's not in sight.
Right. And these are this is Vansel's team, right? And then the guards work for the company, but everybody else is okay. Cool. So I'm still, as I rudely remembered at the beginning of this session, I'm still quite injured from the final battle on the Bloom planet, and I imagine that there's a visual indication of that or 2.
Yeah, if you'd prefer.
So I just, I stumble in, and whatever I can do to kind of show that off. If there's a gash, I'll really let that arm show or something. Or if there's, some still blood flakes in my nose, I'll kind of spread them about a little bit more. And I say to the guards, I was like, Professor, escape pod was empty. Professor's still on the ship. He's got that turns into the ash, and he's got Chavanaugh. You got to get down there now.
They look at each other. One of them says, call it in! And they both take off down the hallway straight towards where the hallway, there's a T-junction, and both sides lead to a lift that will take them to the main thing.
Okay. And as soon as
the 2 people at the consoles have like turned around and are just staring at you.
Okay, so that was the second lie I've ever told in my life. It's still new to me. How to do.
The person at the communications station takes off her headset and says, "Very well."
Cool. So I made it up about the professor, but I think we are actually in trouble. So fuck, I was going to use Captain Mad Vansel to win their allegiance, but I actually don't know that he has also been thrown in the brig.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Okay. Well, we're just going to wing it then. I say to the panic woman, you can't get in touch with anyone planetside anywhere, can you?
No.
Yeah, it's what I suspected. We got a message from the summoner of the fire planet, and I think that they're in real trouble. Look,
You were able to get through to the fire planet?
we got a message from the summoner who lives there. We saw just a little piece of it, but it looked like there was an explosion. I imagine it's what's breaking down communication everywhere. Listen, this is the control. This is the bridge. This is the control center of the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I've got a team that can help get us out of there, but they're locked up now. How do we? Where do we gotta lock unlock? How do we open the nets? Not the nets. The nets with the nets that don't, like noodles before you boil them. What are those called? Bars. How do we open those?
Bars? You're talking about the brig?
Yes.
Um,
You meet me halfway, okay? I think I was very clear.
look, I don't want us to delay, but you were equating something to spaghetti noodles that hadn't been cooked yet. So I do apologize. I'm trying as best I can.
Because breaking down my metaphor is delaying.
Sorry. Okay, yes. Did Chavanaugh send you?
What? How am I going to
Yes.
So in my head I go, oh, third time's a charm. And I say, yeah, Shavanal, the summoner, we're all in trouble. It's pandemonium down there.
Okay.
I say, look, I'm worried that no one's, like the brig, that's not where our mind is at when we can't get in touch with any planets. Like we need all hands on deck now. And the personnel that we've got in there, they're the ones that can fix this. They've seen this. They've seen this bloom explosion. Stop yapping. Let's get them. I'm yapping. I'm talking to myself. I'm saying, Tag, stop yapping. Stop yapping, Tag. Get him out of there.
So here's what's up. We're in deep to this lie. And there's no reason to stop this train because I like where it's going.
Right. And thank God, too, because I cannot for a second keep track of what I'm telling the truth, what I'm lying about, what I know, what I don't know, who's on what side.
Exactly.
I'm just fucking freeballing right now.
Right.
And I mean that
Literally?
in the cocaine sense. Sorry, what?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. There is a mechanic that you have to use, and we're going to employ it now. It is called manipulate someone. But because the situation around this lie has created so much confusion, and you've just barged onto the bridge after what you don't know is that their captain has been relieved of duty for no explanation, and you just said that somebody they thought had escaped is now running around the ship using something that turns people into, what did you call it?
Ash.
Did
Not
you,
dandruff. What is this again about?
I thought you called it
a
like
fucking
space
Head and
ash.
Shoulders commercial that we're doing, or are we doing a TTRPG?
So here's
Jesus.
what's going to happen. Your role is not going to depend on whether or not she believes you, but it is going to allow me the opportunity to present kind of like 3 different consequences I have in mind, and your role will determine which one we have.
3 different consequences. Didn't sound like there was equivalently 3 successes that you could offer me, so it seems like a rigged game, but here we go. Oh, shit. All right, well, I'll just go ahead and mark experience, which if you've been watching is the sign of a failed roll.
Oh, no.
That is a 6.
Okay. She tells her friend, who is named Nara, but that's really close to Tara, so we're going to change it right now.
What is with
Nova.
you naming everyone?
Nova. She turns to Nova and says, Nova, get on comms, please. And this is the younger of the two who's now asking the savvy vet to do this. She rises very cautiously and does go to the comms. It's apparent that whatever's happening right now, this clusterfuck of paper and screens, she is now like aware that if this person's going to leave, and she says to you, my name is Eldred, by the way. She just so we can get that out there and start using people's names.
No, I appreciate that. My name's Tag. I'm sorry that I was just caught up in... It's been a wild day, y'all.
Nova says to her very sternly, make this quick. And then puts on the headphones and locks right into whatever this communications loop is. Eldred leads you over to the wall. And she says, the only way to open the brig is with Shavana or the captain's key. But we have a couple extras for when company VIPs are here. She shows you a safe on the wall. And she types in a number to it, which you see, which is 848, and then 2 upside down stars.
I am just going to do an asterisk because it's still not totally clear to me what we mean by that. So just letting y'all know what I'm writing.
If you have a 5-point star,
Here, I'll draw it.
Okay, no, I get it. Well, see, that's not really that
That
upside.
doesn't look so upside down.
Right side up.
You're
Sorry, there.
Okay, well, if I flip the handle slightly, that's a pretty upside down look. I just feel like we're really leaning into this upside down. It's kind of like the lie that I'm telling. Like at this point, we're so turned around ourselves, we don't know what way is up.
You keep telling yourself that, my friend.
Look, we're very clearly in the future. We have spaceships. We don't need to reinvent the asterisk to prove to people that we're not living in the contemporary world.
But it's a sci-fi universe in the
Okay, this is the only marker of that. It's not the void magic. Or the intergalactic travel, or the fire planet. Anyway.
Anyway, she opens up the safe after pushing in this code, and inside there are 3 cards and 2 empty slots where 2 others might be. And you take that to be the captain's and Chavanaz.
This is his failed role?
Oh.
Yes, because she says, I can't give this to you, but I can escort you down to the brig and handle the situation. Because I am a member of the company and the ship, and you're just a guest.
Okay, sure. Look, I'm not interested in an ego move where I, am declared a VIP. I don't have a VIP suite. No one put pears in my room. So I don't care. I'm just trying to save our lives. Can't you understand that?
Yes, I can.
Let's go.
And she follows you. The whole time you are now cutting through the hallways, she is apologizing about having to follow protocol, but being new to the ship and not wanting to get in trouble and yada, 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 yada. And we cut back.
Who is the woman who is still on the brig?
Nova.
And she is the stabby veteran?
Yes.
Okay, it's just a little throwback, man. It's just fun, it's comedy that we're doing. Jeez.
No,
Thank you, Casey. And her role, she is the comms person, and the woman leading me down is... The reason I'm asking is I just want to drop a little bit. I have this move where I can drop thoughts into people's minds, and I'd like to drop a thought into her mind before we leave her alone in the brig.
Sure. To make it complicated, and I apologize, she is the navigations person who is stepping over to cover the communication station.
Perfect. I would just like to drop in her mind that we should be heading to the fire planet.
Okay. How persuasive would you like to be?
You're asking me or you're asking the dice?
I suppose I'm asking the dice.
Let's find out. And moderately persuasive. That's going to be a 9. So a mixed success.
Okay. Yeah, so...
And I can, if we want to bring some fiction into it to build out the why of this thought dropping into her head, I'm happy to do that.
Please.
I think I just want to make... So, for those new to this, we have, in our off time between seasons, i.e. that last 1 week, we took a bit of a critical eye at what it is that tag can do, and we've made some slight tweaks, really in mechanics only, in the interest of kind of clarifying what Bryn's magic is and what Tag's magic is, which is tough because Tag's magic is based a lot on this mystery of his childhood. Why am I talking? I actually don't in any way remember why that seemed relevant to say.
You're using a new move, one that we've changed on your character sheet, in an effort to refine and specify exactly what it is that you can do. I believe you're using Tune In?
A move called Tune In, yeah. Okay. And so what I'm going to... And so the move is about tuning into other people's thoughts, and in limited ways it is about modifying those thoughts. We've been tossing around the word inceptioning someone. So I just want this soldier or pilot or whatever to kind of pick up on the fact that the captain has not been here for a long time. And in a crisis of this magnitude, there's nowhere else on this ship the captain would be. And that fear, once seeded in, grows and grows and grows. And she starts becoming catastrophic in her thinking of why that is. And I want to drop in with her the idea that the fire planet is the closest, and so she doesn't want to be in control of this ship. She's thinking, fuck, I can't take us across the galaxy. Let's just touch down on the fire planet. We'll reconfigure personnel. We'll figure out what's going on with the captain. And that's the move.
Yeah. With a mixed success, you know that she is her confidence is immediately undermined, and that she is not going to change course, but she is going to cross to the navigation console and alter their speed. So she's basically taking them, to borrow more Star Trek bullshit, she's taking them down to impulse power. So you're no longer like blasting through the galaxy. She's taking you down to a crawl in the sense of space. And she's thinking, it wouldn't hurt to make sure that we know we're headed in the right direction before we get too far down that path. And so she pulls the brakes, basically. So she's not changing course, but you've bought, in terms of space travel, if this speed is not altered, a lot of time. And we cut to the summoner. Bryn, I have no idea what you want to do next. You just left Kavanaugh's office.
I'm going to open my line of communication immediately to Tag.
When you cross the threshold of the library, it pops right back in.
Okay, I open it. I say, Tag, are you there?
Oh, God, Bryn, I've been saying so many things that are not the truth, and I honestly feel like I'm drowning right now. Where are you?
Okay, cool. I want to hear about that, but I need you to keep a straight face when I tell you what I'm going to tell you.
Okay. As you say this, two professional duties, what the fuck are you called, Rex? Problem solvers? They
duties for short.
They exit out of the lift. One of them sprints towards the library, which you just left, and runs inside, and the other one heads straight for the lift, which takes you down to the cargo hold.
Oh boy!
And the ship, the docking bay, where the shuttle was.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't stop to talk to you. They just blow right past you.
Okay, so are you still feeling a little tipsy?
I mean, I feel a lot of things. It's unclear to me what is the alcohol and what is the anxiety.
Okay, well, if you could ramp up the alcohol, that'd be great. We need a diversion. We're going rogue. We're stealing the boy jumper. We're gonna break out Rex. We're gonna get the fuck out of here because Kavanaugh is awful.
That's a lot.
I know, and the boy jumper might not actually work. It's gonna be a big experiment. Apparently, they don't even know if it's gonna work, but she's refusing to take me to the fire planet. She's making us go to the water planet, and she's making us deactivate all of these organic force fields that are around all the planets. I don't know, it's a lot, but right now, my main objective is to get out of here.
Okay, my main objective is to support you in whatever way I can.
Okay, we need to get Rex, and we need a diversion.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I am walking towards Rex right now. Unfortunately, I don't have a plan for when I get there because I have made some stuff up, and it will quickly be revealed to be not true. Do you want to meet me in the brig?
Yeah, do you need to talk about it?
Yeah, we could probably decompress later. It does seem, like you said earlier, that there's a bit of urgency to what's happening right now.
Okay, I'm here for you. I got your back.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you. And I hope that you know that just because I'm stressed out right now does mean that I'm not also concerned about how you're doing. So I am curious.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to meet me at the... where's the boy jumper? Is there a map on this thing?
Yeah, actually, where are you?
I left the library and I'm heading... I know this shit. This is Haven, right? I spent a while on it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm heading... I will tell you right now, because I have a map.
Yeah.
Does Kavanaugh have a room? I don't see it listed.
What is that?
Any one of us.
It's not me.
I don't think it's me, but it could be. You never know. I'm pretty popular. Anyway, it's not listed. It's not listed.
Oh, she's got to have a room. I just want to narratively empower you to like put whatever dead fish in the AC vent in her room that you're planning on doing, because I think that's a great piece of the fiction.
Okay.
There's a reason why she doesn't have a room.
She's a ghost!
Who did she tell this to? Who found out? I'm having trouble recalling, so just help me as the GM. Somebody found out that there's an escort vessel. Right?
Oh, you mean Seraph?
Yeah. Who found that out? You guys did, right? The captain told you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be assumed that there is a company ship flying right alongside yours in which Shavanav's room would be.
Okay.
I'm not trying to take away your ball, but
No.
I'm putting that ship there because that ship is there.
Okay.
You're giving us a bigger ball.
Do I know where Shavana spends most of her time on this ship?
You've seen her making rounds and talking to people. What do you need?
I don't want to tell you what I need.
Okay. You've seen her set up an office in the library.
Okay.
Yeah.
Company craft, shuttlecraft, escape pod, docking bay, cargo
Yeah,
hold.
so that company craft in there is what she used to get from ship to ship.
Okay. And the docking bay is where we all hung out and got drunk, right?
Yes, and it's also where the cargo hold and the brig are.
Okay.
If it's not out of my lane to say, Lisa, I suspect that whatever that thing is you want, you could make the authoritative story decision to find it in whatever room it would make sense for it to be, whether that is the office or whatever.
sure.
Not exactly what I want to find, but what I want to plant. So I think I will be... I asked her for 2 hours, so I am going to head back up to my VIP suite.
Okay.
I'm going to grab my staff
Okay.
because I left it, and I'm going to grab a small bag. I'm going to pack just some essentials,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to come down, and I am going to walk down to the docking bay.
Okay.
That's 2 floors down.
Yes.
2 floors down. Cool. I'm going to pull out the book that I took in the library, and I'm going to enchant it.
Okay. What would you like to do?
I would like to... Am I able to do... I would like to enchant it to when it opens, what appears to be a ghost comes out.
Okay.
We are
Ghosts!
Ghost Train tonight, and I'm here for it.
Sure.
Yeah, and I notice in the cargo hold there's some people having their lunch, so I know that this might be a really good place to plant a ghosting.
Sure. Yeah. There's a bunch of these. So what you see is this. We're forward in time a little bit from where we're going to pick up with Tag and the brig.
Okay.
Because Tag would have just come through this place being escorted by Eldred. And they would have crossed into the cargo hold and walked straight to the brig. Before them, a problem solver would have run down here with the information that one of the shuttles was empty and that the professor was hiding. So now you see that there are people kind of putting their lunch down and starting to arm themselves and look around the shuttle bay. We're going to have you roll to see what kind of enchantment you do, and then we're going to cut to the brig.
Okay.
So roll, use magic. It's going to be plus weird.
11.
Okay. When it comes time, this book will do exactly what you need it to do.
Cool.
We're going to cut to the brig. In the brig, Sam, Rex, Captain Matt Vansel, Bert, and his unnamed Dudeski see the doors open, and in walks...
You're there in the clutch with that every time. You're Johnny on the spot with that door noise, and I appreciate it.
In walks Tag and Eldred. The guards say, you're not supposed to be here.
As we're walking in, telepathically, I'm going to connect with Rex with really big eyes and just say, like, I don't really have a plan. I want to bust you out, and I realize that it's really, well, I guess I'm realizing now that I should have had a plan. I guess I was relying on you for a lot of the plan, but now I see what I already knew, which is that you are, in fact, in a cell. Here we go.
Clarifying question. Can he actually communicate telepathically with me, or is he are you just trying to do this with your facial,
While
communicate all of this
narratively, I
with
do
your
love
eyes?
the idea that I'm just making big eyes at you and thinking these things. Yes, in the simplification of Tag's powers, I am able to telepathically communicate with you. Only Bryn, the summoner with whom I am bonded, is able to telepathically communicate back to me.
Okay. Cool.
Which we also may retcon, because fuck it.
Rex, do you have an immediate action you would like to take?
I do think the time to try and punch guards has arrived.
Sure.
So,
the way that I see we go about this is I'm going to have the scene start to unfold, and as soon as you guys want to start making moves, you call it. The first thing that happens is Eldred holds up a key card and says, Tag informed me that we are in danger and we're supposed to let these prisoners out.
Yep.
And the guards say,
looking at Rex, but I see there are two others, and I'm just kind of like, yep, all of them.
And the guards say, did Shavana send you?
Yes, Shavana sent us. The stern, powerful.
and I say, yes, of course, she is a busy woman. She has reviewed my case and seen that it is time for me to be released. And she has sent these people down to do it. Obviously.
They're pretty confused, and they know for a fact they've been here as long as you have been, so any information you have, they would have, but you also outrank them, and they don't know Shavana as well, so instead of believing you, they turn to Tag and force him to roll Manipulate someone, in which Rex can roll Help Out to add to that.
Great.
It doesn't matter. I'll just save you the hand motion of the roll. It doesn't matter. 3.
Oh no, I got a 10!
Okay, you add a +1, which is irrelevant, but in doing a 10, you do protect yourself from my ability to punish you for this.
It's not irrelevant. I think maybe it is mechanically irrelevant, but it feels good that she tried. So...
I mean, the +1 is irrelevant, but the gesture was wonderful.
Well, don't say it like in a way that makes me think you don't think the gesture was wonderful.
Bert turns to you, Rex, and gives a look, then turns to his buddy, and they have Void Blasters out immediately. Both of them are on Tag, and they say to Eldred, we're going to need you to hand over that key card right now and walk out of here.
As she starts to hand over the key card, I'm going to telepathically yell at Rex, throw the dinosaur!
She is standing in such a way that when she extends the key card to Bert, her hand is well within range of Sam's cell. So she is not in on this whole prisoner guard thing, and now thinks that she just got herself fired. And the first thing that she's going to do is hand the key card to the guard.
The beautiful thing about this game is that I know that I failed these rolls. It seems like it's going so well, but then I remember there's this thing called hard moves, which is where Jesse makes a little note of how he's going to fuck us later.
You're on mute.
Is there any way that I can try to grab the card and then card flip it so that it unlocks Rex?
Yes, you will have to do an act under pressure roll, which will determine the amount of coolness this will do. The reason being is you will need to reach through the bars and do all of this while not touching them, because they are crackling with void energy.
Right. Yes. Yes, yes. Well, let's give her a try, shall we?
Please do.
I've been practicing all afternoon. Several decks worth. No, sir. No, sir. That's a 5.
Excellent.
Wait, do you add anything to it?
Key, baby.
That's with all the bells and whistles.
Oh,
I was really hoping this would happen.
no. Oh, no.
You reach through and deftly grab that key card and flick it towards Rex. It flies into her cell. She doesn't have time to catch it, but the key card hits the back wall and falls onto the floor. And you look like a master when you do it. But because Eldred was handing that card to Bert, and he's standing right there, his first reaction, it's reflexive, is he grabs your arm and pulls you into the cell. And Sam Hagen is hit with a massive blast of void energy.
Ew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happens?
Sam, we talked briefly today about what may or may not happen when you get smacked with some void energy.
Yes, indeed.
And I want to just open up the floor to what happens next.
So, normally, would you describe briefly what would normally happen when somebody were to collide with the void bars?
Sure, it's like a modified stun gun. So you are incapacitated, and it is rather painful. What it does is it has a feedback built into it, so it actually sticks you to the bars for long enough for the charge to expel, and then that would pop you off. So you're not going to get stuck on them, but it will keep you there long enough to incapacitate you.
So everything begins normally, just as Jesse described. But as the charge builds to the point where it would normally expel Sam off of the bars, you see his arm explode outward. And 2 large sort of maybe forearm-sized black monoliths burst out of his forearm, locking him onto the bar, onto the void bars. At the same time, as Sam is screaming, his other arm seems to have a will of its own and also grab a hold of another bar to double the charge of how much is flowing through him. Sam, it seems like he's torn between 2 planes. Part of him desperately pulling him towards the void bars, and the other part of him screaming in agony, trying to escape what's going on. He seems to be channeling the energy into him, and more of these black monoliths burst out of his arms, out of his legs, out of his spine, and he seems to fold over in on himself like a spiral. And you can see a row of these monoliths burst out of his spine all the way up through his neck until his whole body has become this giant obsidian beast that looks like it is a stack of black crystal stones.
What the fuck
What?
is that?
Beautiful description. It's, to be clear, the Sam Hagen that you guys were checking out just a second ago is gone. And in his place is, how tall would you say?
I would say maybe 7.5 feet tall, 8 feet tall, something like that.
A 7.5 foot tall, black crystalled Goliath is now grabbing the bars, and all of the energy is being channeled into this creature. And in doing so, Rex no longer needs the key card because all of the void cells start to crackle and pop, and you can see that their circuit breakers are exploding, and those little things that people were using to put food underneath are popping. And all of the void energy in the room cuts out. It doesn't seem to extend past these cells or their capacity to use it. And then in one moment of silence after this, when everyone's just kind of standing there, Bert says, "We didn't exactly think that one through." And all the cell doors go click and swing open a couple inches. Tag, you get shot.
I get shot?
Yes.
Man, what a downer. I was just on this high of seeing this creature transformation. Okay, great.
The guard closest to you, who isn't Bert, pulls the trigger out of fear, and you take a void blast to the chest. It does 2 harm.
Bypassing armor?
No.
Thank goodness. Because it nearly killed me.
But it would knock you backwards into the gate,
Great.
but it doesn't matter because the gate's not enchanted anymore. Okay, just to set the stage. There are 2 guards in here. Matt Vansel is in the back cell, still handcuffed, and you guys are all exactly where you were, but the cells are now compromised. We will start with Rex. What would you like to do?
I want to somehow communicate. I don't know how to do this, but I want to somehow communicate to Sam and Tag that it cannot look like I am leaving of my own free will. That they have to make it look like they are taking me prisoner.
How would you like to do that? Because it sounds complicated.
Well, out of game, I want the person, the human playing me as the character to...
Right, so that's why I'm saying, like, that's what's in my head right now, but I'm
Okay.
not quite sure how I, as the character, managed to achieve that.
Right?
So I'm open to all ideas. I can muddle it about for a moment and try and think about how to do that.
Why don't we just play the scene and see what happens, and maybe we'll get somewhere. And anytime in that scene, you can just put a little timeout up, and if it's not getting you...
I'll just start by picking up the key card and throwing it out of the cell.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah,
It
right.
hits Matt Vansel on the side of the head.
Card it's irrelevant now.
There's
You know,
still other
I'm
parts of the
looking around
ship that it
all the
probably
doors.
is useful for. Oh, yeah, all my door noises are gone now.
Yeah, it hits Matt Vansel on the side of the head and falls to the ground, and he looks at it and then kind of like does that bend backwards thing to like pick it up. And he, while everyone's looking at Rex, taps his handcuffs and they open.
Rex, we gotta go.
No, I'm here. Shavana put me here, and I have to stay here so that she knows that I am loyal to the company.
You're what for? Look around you.
Oh, I have to. You don't understand.
I don't.
The guards are backing towards the door. They still have their blasters leveled, but they're not. They're like listening to this. They don't know what to do. They just shot Tag and he's okay. There's still this thing happening. They don't know what to do.
I'm going to make a move for the other guard. Not
Okay.
Bert, but the other guard.
Sure. What do you want to do?
I would like to... what kind of uniform is he wearing?
It's like a black khaki.
I would like to take him by the uniform and lift him up off the ground and say something along the lines of, "Hey, be nice."
He is just hanging in your arms, and he points the blaster at you and fires, and it bounces off of you and hits him, and he goes limp in your hands.
Oh, I told you to be nice. Bert, you're nice, right?
Bert aims the gun at you and then aims it away because it looked like that wasn't going to happen. And he reaches for his walkie-talkie and says, "Brig, Brig, Brig, Brig!"
Oh, Bert, gave you the benefit of the doubt. Now I have to knock you out.
Roll kick some ass.
Oh. This one is a 9.
All right. You are going to deal damage to each other, which is the case. You lurch forward and smash into him, and he flies into the door, which bends outwards. It does not break because it's a sliding door, but it does bend outwards, and he falls into what you know to be the cargo hold. He does fire, but the void energy bounces off of you again.
Cool. And again, I'm not trying to like hurt him seriously.
Sure.
Just trying to lay him out. You know.
Yeah, and he's out. These dudes are not the elite guard. They are giving prisoners shots and like goofing around. So,
What elite guard have you ever met named Bert? I think we all knew this is not the creme de la creme.
I turn to the others. I say, just to be fair, that was a soft one. Okay, so he's okay. He's just sleeping now. It's fine. He's gonna be we're all friends.
Matt Vansel
and I kind of
steps
hiss
forward.
towards Tag, like, you can't make me leave.
I say, well, of course not. You're a lot stronger than me.
And then I just sigh and I wink and I say, you can't make me leave.
And so then, telepathically, my eyes go wide in real life, and telepathically I go, oh, winking, yes! And I say, you may be stronger than me on the outside, but I'm strong in courage and love, the love of myself, and believing in myself. And I puff out my chest, and you're coming with me. The little dinosaur too.
Matt Vansel steps forward, and he stands in front of this creature and looks up at you and says, there's no coming back from this for anybody. You grab the stubborn one and her pet. Drunk guy, shut up and follow me. And he walks into the cargo hold.
It's Puck, by the way. Okay. Hey, do you mind if I have one of these cheeseburgers? Those look great. That looks fantastic. Oh, it's on the floor. 5-second rule, right? Okay, here we go. Oh,
It's just
I
like
scoop
slider to him.
I scoop up Rex under one arm, making sure that the little dino is not in any way compromised.
I'm feebly beating at his arms, but I'm not actually doing any harm at all.
Hey, you're quite good at this. Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna get one cheeseburger for the road. All right. And
you guys march out into the cargo hold. There's nobody out there. Bert doesn't move. He's just sleeping on the floor behind you. And you guys cross into the shuttle bay.
I'm just gonna real quick say that I assume they took my weapons away from me when they put me in the
They
brig.
took everything.
Okay, I want to grab those before I leave.
There's no weapon. There's none of your weapons in the brig, but there is 2 discarded void blasters that those guards were carrying.
Great.
So you're now dual wielding pistols.
Great.
You end up dual wielding in every arc, and I just fucking love it.
so, as Rex is like punching me and maybe gesturing to the pistols, I'm like, oh yeah, definitely should get those. I'll need yep. I just grab them and go, now I'm armed and dangerous.
They kind of like magnetize to your hand, and you can't like. They just stick one on top of your hand, one on the other, and you can't really like get them off.
Yep, that was deliberate. Yes, I've got. Yep, here we go.
As you cross to the door, the much larger door of the cargo hold that goes into the shuttle bay, Matt Vansel turns around and says, just so you know, 99% sure we're fucked and this isn't gonna work, but just follow my lead because I think we're dead. And he opens the door. And as it opens, you see this room full of company operatives that are just looking underneath ships and opening up shuttles and tossing over things. And in the middle of the room, Bryn is standing there holding a book. Bryn, you see Tag following the captain and a gigantic black crystal monster who is carrying Rex and has guns stuck to his hand. And they walk out of the cargo hold.
I feel like we need the Arrested Development narrator to come in right now and be like, that's what I knew. I was in trouble.
Do they all have? Are they all armed with void blasters?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like the go-to company firearm.
I think maybe I should handle this one.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know,
far,
unless that
like,
ghost does something really cool.
yeah, it seems that you have a pocket of time in which you will be able to make however many moves you'd like. The team of people are not looking for you. They are operating on information Tag gave them about the professor still being on the ship. So you have a pocket of time to, like, do something.
All right. I kind of hold up Rex to block to hide behind, so they don't notice me.
Have I already? So how many of the company's goons are in here?
There are, according to my notes, which are extensive, there are
Yeah.
6 of them
6.
in this room, and one of them had ran into the brig.
And what room are we in? The
Sorry,
cargo
there's 7.
hold? Where are we?
There's 7. You're in the docking bay.
The docking bay. Okay.
So just to give you a sense of space, in the middle of this docking bay, there is the Void Jumper craft, which you've heard about. There are 4 other shuttles. 3 of them look exactly like the space limos you took down to the preserve. The 4th is a much more sinister-looking craft that you assume Shavana took to come here. It is like jet black. It looks like a shark. You know, like it's very sleek
Vader
and
ship.
yeah, it's the Vader ship. So you're in a very large space. There are robots who are confused because they were cleaning and working on things, but they've all been pushed into the middle and kind of herded around the Void Jumper as these company operatives are like going around. One guy's questioning the robots.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to Tag with the book, and I have already enchanted it at this point.
Yes, the book is like a primed item that
Okay.
you did in the previous.
I'm gonna walk up to Tag, and I'm gonna make sure I'm in earshot of one of the company people. I'm gonna be like, "Psst, Tag! I stole this book off the Bloom Planet. It's from the Summoner's private collection. He said never open it because it's like a treasure map to all this stuff on the thing, but I don't know what to do with it. What should I do with it?"
One of the sorry, go
Tag
ahead.
is incredibly naive about all the things short of an actual fucking wink. So he's like, well, yeah, I think probably don't open it. I also just don't know that this is our top priority right now.
The one that you made sure was in earshot turns to you and pulls his pistol, his blaster, and he says, "They've stolen company assets." And he says it into the microphone, and another guy walks over and says, "Put your blaster down. That's a summoner, man." And he does. And they're confused, and they say, "Ma'am," and then they see this group of people, and then they look back to you, and all he said is "ma'am," but he did extend his hand to you as though to say, "May I?" Although he's been cut off mid-sentence by seeing this stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna be like, "Okay, but I'd be careful not to open it. I mean, it sounds really cool, but, you know, I don't know." That's how I give him the book.
It lands in his hand off-center and clatters to the ground because he wasn't looking, but as soon it hits spine first and flips open.
Okay.
What does this book do?
Out comes the ghost of Summoner Langorium in all his rage.
Okay.
Comes out and says, "I know what you did to my planet. I am here to take my revenge." And he's gonna start going after the company men.
Okay. The spirit just starts flying around the ship. Mechanically, it is just an illusion, so it cannot do damage or interact with objects. None of these dudes know that. They don't know what happens when summoners die, and a summoner just opened a book that got a ghost of another one, and the two dudes who were standing next to you fire their void blasters up into the air, and the beams pass right through this thing, as it would a ghost. And the others turn around at the sign of the shot. More blasts kind of ping from the other sides, and all of a sudden you're in this very rowdy docking bay in which these guys are acting like idiots, and there's like some ricochets going on and blasters going. For all intents and purposes, chaos has just erupted in the shuttle bay. What would you like to do?
I need to look at Rex and Tag and be like, we need to get to the Void Jumper. Things went bad with Shavana. Rex, she was going to send you off planet to the water planet to a jail. I asked to at least be able to break you out for a little bit to help these missions she wants us to do, and she refused. So I would like to go take the Void Jumper to the fire planet immediately. Also, who's this guy?
Yeah, a minute ago, that would all been fine, but now we got a ghost of a freaking summoner swinging around here.
Tag, I did that. Jeez.
You resurrected Summoner Langurium?
I did, and he's working for me exactly 5 minutes. So we have 5 minutes to get out of here.
Okay.
Do you say this entire plan out loud?
Oh, shit. I mean, I thought it was pretty chaotic. And I'm whispering. I'm in stage whisper mode.
Sure. But Matt Vansel...
Sisters are being fired, ghosts are...
Wait a minute. And I look at Matt Vansel and I'm like, I've never flown a ship. Can you fly the Void Jumper?
He says, he hears this plan. That's why I was asking. Matt Vansel hears this plan, and he says, we can't take the Void Jumper.
Why?
It's an exit strategy, but only if you're pointed at a planet. If we drop that thing out of the hatch, we'll just be floating through the space. If you can get me
You
to
wanted to say floating through the void.
Shut up!
I just think that, as times get crazier and crazier, we should find the little bits of lightness to keep us going.
He's right. We should let this guy lead. When you're older.
No, I'm
He
sorry.
said-
You keep going.
When you're older. Alright, look, we can't do anything with this Void Jumper unless we're in orbit. You want to get to the fire planet, I can get us there. But you have to get me to the bridge. My crew will listen to me.
What about Shavana?
I think we might be able to lock her out of the bridge. But that's your guys' thing. I can fly this ship, Haven, wherever you want it. I need to be in the bridge to do so. You guys got to figure out what the hell you're going to be doing about this. And he points up as two void bolts collide in air and go bang, shoot off. So, if you can get me to the bridge, I'd say that's probably a good step one.
Let's
But
go.
just
And I
clear.
look.
This is it for us. This is it. Whatever you just did, I'm wrapped up in it now too. And you're not going to leave me out to dry. So if we're doing this, we're doing it. But we got to go now.
I look at the big guy and I say, "How do you feel about?" Sorry. First of all, I'm Tag.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, hey, Puck.
Huck? Hi, I'm Bryn.
Oh, hello.
I thought your name was Sam.
Oh, yeah. That's a long story.
I really look forward to hearing it. In the meantime, how would you feel about helping us clear a path?
Sounds good. Are we still playing piggyback? I just put Rex on my back.
Yeah, and Snacks is kind of perching on my shoulder, and I say, I can take those two void weapons now if you want.
Yeah, maybe it's safer if I just put you down. I'm just gonna. All right, let's get these guys out of the way and get to the bridge.
Sure. And you're able to pull those blasters off of his hand, but they do feel like they're magnetized to it. It's not impossible, but they do have a pull.
Magnetic.
Unfortunately, I'm very strong.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. So basically there are 6 guys standing between you and the lift, which will take you up to the main deck. There is a separate bank of elevators on the other side of the ship once you're up there that can take you to the upper deck. So it's not a straight shot. But your first order of business will be to take care of these 6 guys. And we can do that in kind of an abstract sense. You know, like, each of you tell me which role you would like to play in this maneuver, and we'll have you each roll 1 stat, and then we'll just narrate what happens.
Well, they seem pretty distracted with the ghost. We can't just clear out of there?
As soon as you start going for the lift, it's going to be a chain reaction. It's going to be chaotic, so it's not going to be like they all turn on you and forget about the ghost, but one guy's going to see you. If you do something to that guy, they're going to notice. It's going to be a chain reaction, so you just need to, like, be deliberate in it.
But if we don't, what declaration of violence have we done to this group so far? I mean, we haven't established ourselves as against them in any way.
No, but they
So who's to sneak
know.
around?
They've heard of Puck.
My fault.
No, you see, I mean, if they've heard of you, surely they've heard that you're a really sweet guy, because that's all I've been able to notice in the last couple minutes hanging out with you.
Well, Rex was also sweet, and they put her away.
Yeah.
Hey, I have an idea. Why don't I just do it the old-fashioned way?
Punching?
I just go up to the first person and just try to, like, if anybody notices us, we'll just start walking, and if anybody seems to notice us, I'll just try to give them a little pat.
A little knock on the door?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will be doing the slow motion hero walk through these crisscrossing void blasters. Puck will be handling this situation using Kick Some Ass. It will kind of encapsulate his ability to smack guards out of your way. Is there any other things you guys would like to do to help?
And just try to stay behind me so you don't get hit by any of the tickle blasts.
I like the idea of just trying to support Puck in what he's doing and
Yeah, I
not
agree.
set off myself. And I think the way that I can do that is maybe just kind of help funneling people to him, sort of setting up the bowling pins for him.
Okay, you'll be doing an act under pressure in order to achieve that.
Great.
Rex, you want in on the action?
I think it's still a very fine dance between not openly wanting to attack my fellow problem solvers and employees of the company.
Okay.
And so I think I'm not fighting them, but I'm still walking with the crew.
Okay, you will be rolling help out.
Look at
And-
you pretending like you can play both sides of this when you're walking with the Void Monster, 2 guns in hand that you've picked up from sleepy guards.
The correct nomenclature is Spriggan, but, you know, that's maybe for another time.
Wait, the correct nomenclature is what?
Spriggan.
Spriggan instead of...
Void Monster. It's a bit...
no, that was probably... Well, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a heated situation. There's a lot of fast-moving objects, and, you know, there's a lot of kerfuffle as it... You know, there's a dinosaur, you know...
Yeah.
Well, shall we?
Yeah. Brent, is there any other layer you want to add to this besides the Summoner Langorium ghost illusion?
Yes.
Lay it on me.
After 5 minutes, I want the ghost to morph into Shavana, and she goes around looking at everyone saying, "You're fired, and you're fired, and you're fired." So that hopefully Shavana finds it later.
Okay, yeah. You got it. It's going to look like a ghost. So there's not going to be confusion as to it being a ghost or not, but they don't understand how I don't understand how that's possible. So if a ghost came and fired me, it would be pretty traumatic. So yeah. This is what happens. We're going to do this one step at a time. So basically you slow motion hero walk forward, and the first group of these guys, 2 or 3 of them, turn around. We can see Summoner Langorium's ghost flying up into the air and doing a loop-de-loop and transitioning into Shavana to go and fire somebody. But you're going to now roll Kick Some Ass, Casey, to dictate how well you are able to swat your way through this place.
apologies in advance. It's just trying to as gentle as possible.
Gentle giant.
A soft palm.
So that's an 11.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So as you're walking through and these guys are starting to realize that the very dangerous anomaly that was locked in the brig and a danger to everyone is now walking through the docking bay, they all turn and start to try and get a hold of you. But Puck is just walking through and saying, really sorry about this. Slap. And they are flying and hitting the sides of the walls. Slap and hitting the sides of the walls. Rex, this is going against the idea you had. Why don't you roll help out to see if you can do anything for these guys?
I got a 9.
Okay, cool. So you're not able to save everybody, but with those little blasters, you're able to like shoot the scaffolding that one of them was standing on. So before he has a chance to go forward, it cracks and he falls over and doesn't charge you guys. And you're able to hold the guns up and be like, you know how bad I am. And they, you know, a couple of them go. Not everybody. So Puck does have to swat his way through some.
Sorry.
And Tag, as the final group approaches, and you know that they're about to switch around behind you guys and give up on trying to attack the Spriggan and go for you, how would you like to funnel? You're going to have to roll Act Under Pressure and then tell me how well you funnel these guys back to the Spriggan.
So we're pushing through almost at the door, and they're lining up again behind us?
Yeah.
Then, yeah, I'd like to use tune in, if I can, and give them the idea that there is a very specific weak spot on the back of this brigand, and that if they, you know, really sort of, what are the things called in castles that the archers shoot through?
I've heard them called murder holes.
Murder.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, you can't really come at it from an angle. You've got to be right dead center on it, which I hope will cause them all to just make a literal kind of line together, such that if the gentle giant wanted, he could quite literally bowl them over just running back through the line of them.
All right, let's see how good you are.
But I'll leave that to his discretion. I'm gonna mark experience.
Oh my gosh. They line up and fire, but they do not fire at all of the humans, which is what they were going to do. All of them fire roughly where you've communicated this murder hole is. And 2 of the blasts hit Tag as they ricochet off of Puck. And he would take 2 separate instances of 2 harm.
Oh.
Are you dead now?
I don't think so. I have 2 armor, so if
yeah,
I understand the
basically,
mechanic correctly.
You do not take HP damage, but you are flung onto your back and you skid until you are leaning against the elevator doors in a bit of a daze, and you are unable to get to your feet immediately.
I just reach over and push the call elevator button.
It does start to chime as it's coming down, and Matt Vansel leads you guys
The doors
there.
open, and my back is on the seam, and as they open, I just right backwards.
That is going to happen, but I want to paint
No, I didn't want. I wasn't serious. I didn't want to do that.
It's going to happen, unfortunately for you. Maybe unfortunately, depending on your allegiance to the company of which Rex is in good graces with, probably with her actions here in this cargo bay. So good luck.
No, I'm only holding these 2 pistols just to demonstrate proper handling technique. I have.
It's important.
The group that just fired sees that their weapons are having no effect on you guys, and they aim at the humans. You guys have all turned around. You know, like you were headed in one direction towards the lift. As this happened, you all turn around. Tag is now laying behind you, and you're looking back into the shuttle bay, and you see them look past you when the elevator dings, and they lower their weapons. And Matt Vansel says to you guys, okay. And he has his hand up as if, like, there's no need to fire to these guys. And he says, all right, as soon as we're off that elevator, it's a straight shot to the bridge. If you can get me inside, we can lock the doors, and we might stand a chance. But we have to go now. And he turns to lead you, and you all turn as well, just as the elevator doors are opening, and Tag falls backwards into it and is laying on the floor, and he is looking up at Shavana and two of her elite guards. And she looks into his eyes and then up at you guys and says, Puck, welcome back.
Oh no. Yes. Well, I don't know if there's much time left to be nice then, is there?
I don't think so.
And so we've been trying to play it very non-lethally up to this point and sneak our way, but I think Tag recognizes a bad situation. He recognizes that the tides have turned. So lying there on the floor, he'll just reach in, take out the bladed tonfa, and try to drive it right into the foot of one of the elite guards.
Okay. It's this slow motion moment where everybody's kind of looking at Tag's hand as it's flying out. Puck's being rather cordial, and Kavanaugh has not made a move. And everybody's eyes in unison get wider as the blade comes down and sticks the guard's foot to the floor. He screams and falls back, drawing his weapon. It is a rifle, which is significantly larger than the pistols these others have been using. The other steps in front of Shavana as she ducks back into the elevator, pulls a pistol, and fires right at Bryn. Blackout.
Dig it.
Oh. Oh.
Well, what happens?
Jesse, yes.
Yeah.
Jesse, yes.
Ooh, I've got some ideas.
Me too.
Yeah.
Lots of ideas.
Yeah, I got so many ideas. Well, I'll say first to my fellow players, that was a real blast. And then I'll say to anybody still watching us, I'm so grateful that you've tuned in for this journey.
Yeah, I love that Casey's playing with us.
So happy to be here with you guys.
Thanks for jumping in with both feet, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jumping into the void.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So good. Thank you guys so much. We have so much fun with this. If you guys want to tell everybody where you can be found on the socials, starting with Jesse.
You can find me at Jesse_Keeter, and I'm on Twitter, occasionally saying some funny stuff.
Casey, where can we find you?
You can find me at Case Jackalope on Instagram, or we'll just leave it at that for now.
Cool. How about you, Trin?
I am most often on Twitter at Trin Miller.
And Connor?
You guys know where I am. I'll take this time to point out, if he's okay with it, that Casey also has a YouTube channel called Complete Nonsense. Is it youtube.com/complete nonsense?
It is, yeah.
And there's really nothing I could say to give you a true picture of the multi-pack variety cereal box experience that it is.
There's some gems on there.
Yeah, you should go subscribe to Casey's channel. youtube.com/complete nonsense.
I appreciate that. I'm actually going to be directing most of my subscribers for the next couple of weeks to come here to watch this show. So,
hot damn.
Yeah.
Yay! Awesome. And I'm Lisa Coronado. You can find me at Lisa Coronado on Twitter. I also stream on Twitch. It's a Smalls World. We're doing Subnautica Below Zero right now, and probably going to jump into a scary game pretty soon. Special thanks goes to Mark Thomason, who is our tech guru. Thank you so much. And to Aaron Buman.
Yes.
He's working on new graphics for us. We're so excited for our intro, and he did all of our music, which is fantastic. And to our unbelievable mod, Paximo, we love you so much. And to Merc Worky, you guys are so great. And a special shout out to Corey, who gave us bits, and she also gifted 5 subs. So thank you so much for your guys'
Thanks.
support. I'm not sure, what do we have coming up next? Do we have game night? DJ game night? I'm not sure
Mark?
what's coming up next.
Let's say there's probably a lot of cool stuff on this
Yeah,
channel.
Zoe's got stuff
We'll
all
do
week.
that.
I know Masters of the Metaverse is on Monday. What's on Friday? Random D&D with Ethan.
D&D with Ethan.
So
Mark
cool.
Burner.
They got lots of good stuff. You can join their Discord, Zombie Orpheus. You can join our Discord. We also have
Paximo's dropping some delicious fanfic on that thing.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
really?
good stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't know about this. I want to read fanfic of this.
Yes,
do it.
we got some
Okay.
fanfic that's been coming on. It's amazing. So you can
Sweet.
join Zoe and you can join us at Void Jumpers and come nerd out with us and get all of the announcements and stuff we got coming at you guys. Other than that, we'll be back next Wednesday at 6 p.m. and we hope you'll be there.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yay! Thank you.